think we're vulnerable. They're welcome to find out.
Get tickets now. Only in theaters November 11th.
Now she's gonna be in the driver's seat. I guess there's a first time for everything.
Today is all about the basics. Gotta have unbeatable focus. Kind of like the unbeatable mileage I get from Chevron with Techron. He knows it helps keep my engine clean.
And she knows how to pay with the Chevron app. Everyone's learning today. All right, next stop, the parking lot. The empty parking lot.
Unbeatable mileage for you and your car.
It's when the morning glows, I cannot hide myself from you. It's when my feeling grows, I'm coming back to you. When I step out, when I step out, when I step out, when I step out of the light, I come into the light. I will be happy, happy, happy. How could I not be, not be, not be? And hey, do you think I can stay? 'Cause I will be happy, happy, happy. How could I not be, not be, not be? When I'm with you, I cannot sleep at night, 'cause in my mind there's only you. When I step out, when I step out, when I step out, when I step out of the light, I come into the light. I will be happy, happy, happy. How could I not be, not be, not be? And hey, do you think I can stay? 'Cause I will be happy, happy, happy. How could I not be, not be, not be? When I'm with you, you, you. When I'm with you, speak to me, your silence spoken. Share with me your heart's desire. Hey, shout it out in words unspoken. Shout it out above. When I step out of the light, So you say you got a new one. I know that you're trying to believe that you can fake a whole scenario just to make me jealous. Your shadow keeps talking, and we should stop talking. But we got that special something. Say it like you mean it, I won't fake it and believe it when I see it. But for now, I just be breathing, doing nothing. I won't cave in if you won't make a move right now. Oh, why do we go 360? You're hesitating, now it's busy. You know we always can go easy. Won't you let me know? Why do we go 360? You're hesitating, now it's busy. You know we always can go easy. You should let me know. Oh, I will be clear now. Patience is really not my key, but if you play your cards right, I might just think about it twice. Yeah. Say it like you mean it, I won't fake it and believe it when I see it. But for now, I just be breathing, doing nothing. I won't give in if you won't make a move right now. Oh, why do we go 360? You're hesitating, now it's busy. You know we always can go easy. Won't you let me know? Why do we go 360? You're hesitating, now it's busy. You know we always can go easy. We can go easy, but you should let
Move forward,
Moving forward,
approach, and engage.
engaging.
Get more with Honda. Hondas are more fun to drive, give you more value, and are in stock with more arriving daily. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Thank you! Water tastes like, well, water. So we fixed it. Mio.
Seriously? Now there's a hole in your defense. Look at the size of that. Is that a goat?
You talking about me?
I think this goat is saying gap.
Must be talking about the expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
So who's talking about the money Aflac pays to help close that gap?
Aflac, gap, Aflac, gap.
It's about to go down, baby.
Aflac.
Help that goat!
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover at
Aflac.com.
If I make a dish, I can make it a business with Squarespace, where I cook up more success, selling cookbooks, classes, and my very own noodle shop. Because if I can make a dish, why not make the next culinary empire?
To you, nothing else can compare. And higher we fly, admire the beautiful things you do. And higher we fly, desire these moments just with you. With you, with you, with you, with you, oh, with you, with you, with you, oh, with you, with you.
ESL Challenger is brought to you in part by Intel, Asus,
Republic of Gamers, DHL, Monster Energy, and 1xBet.
I've managed to get myself outside of the arena from ESL Challenger to have a look at the DreamHack Festival here in Rotterdam. Now, the DreamHack Festival is something very special for people of all ages to play some games, to have some fun, to go try out some new equipment. You know, there's plenty of things to do here just to come and enjoy yourself for a day of adventure. So let's have a look around. So, on top of things you can do to have some fun, we're going to try and ride onto this ball when I'm holding the microphone. It's certainly not easy, but we'll give it our best go. All right, this isn't too bad. Okay, that was a lot harder than I expected. She probably even went easy on me as well. But there's some fun you can have. Don't get yourself hurt, but enjoy yourself. That's the main thing. I don't think I'll ever do that in real life. I think just staying on the soft, fake ones is much more fun for me.
8 teams, 3 days of competition. It's all been whittled down to this. Only 2 teams remain. We're here in the heart of Europe's biggest port, and this bustling city is going to see 2 more ships come to home. But who's going to be coming in to first place? Who's going to be docking as champions? Well, that has yet to be figured out. It's ESL Challenger Rotterdam, and it's time for the grand finals here. On our grand final panel, we've got Alan Hender, we've got Hedgie. How are we feeling here as we get ready to crown champions?
Oh, it's feeling good, isn't it, Mike? It's certainly Ents. They feel like they've been the strongest team so far in the competition. Outsiders, I'm not sure many people would have picked them to make it this far, but they look sensational in that game against Mouse. So who knows what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be a barnstormer.
Absolutely ecstatic, excited. All the X factors have been eliminated, and we stand today with Ents against outsiders. They still do have a lot of X factors left, though. Amazing plays. We have Fame, we have Dame, we have Maiden, we have some Pious. This is going to be down to the wire.
And now, from the outsiders' perspective, right, this is their 3rd Challenger event. This is their 3rd Challenger Grand Finals. Only 1 crown so far, but Ents, newcomers to this stage, newcomers to this challenge, and they're looking to take a dub here, and either team's looking to carry that momentum on forward as they get ready for the Rio Majors. So not only is this matchup going to have repercussions for who takes first place, who takes that crown, it could have huge impact for morale headed into the biggest event of the year.
I mean, looking beyond just ESL Challenger, neither of these teams, with similar iterations of lineups, have ever won an offline tournament. Neither of them. The closest you can come is a Vanguard winning Blast Moscow at the end of 2019 with James Kickett and Dazdan coaching. So, as good as Ents has been this year, they never won a title. And of course, Outsiders winning the first Challenger this year, that was online. This is a different ballgame in front of a crowd. So, I think for both teams, what an opportunity now to get it done on stage in a grand final.
Kind of an odd situation as well when we talk about a LAN crowd. There's not necessarily a favorite here, right? Oddly enough, the favorite, Eternal Fire, they were just eliminated. So now, I mean, the crowd might be mercenary. It's all going to be about trying to win them over, trying to get them excited, trying to build them into your narrative. And, I mean, we've seen crowd impact have a huge influence here, Hedgie. You think there's any way they might lean?
I think they're gonna lean into great rounds, great plays, great Counter-Strike, right? And are we not entertained?
We are certainly entertained. It's been multi-frag after multi-frag. We've had highlights out the wazoo. Feels like even in that last series, clutch after clutch after clutch to go towards the end. We've had some really red-hot CS here, and as these teams are, A, trying to fine-tune their form, and B, maybe just keeping a little bit in reserve for what's yet to come, I think we're going to see some crazy individual play really be a key factor here, Alan.
I mean, honestly, let's throw the narrative out the window that either of the teams will be saving any strats. Everything is going to be plowed into this. They've played too much Counter-Strike this weekend to save anything for the major, and this is the best place to prepare. This is your last chance before the biggest stage of all.
A trophy is certainly something to help you go through it. And it's time to figure out who's going to be taking that trophy, who's going to be crowning themselves champion. It's time to get this grand final started.
feeling amazing. It was a really tough game for us, but we did it, and everyone is just becoming better single day, and full happy and full focus on next game, and looking forward to play in this great final, in this great city.
I think we're super ready. I hope that the pistol guards would be with us. We lost 6 out of 6 this match, and it made it super, super tough. I'm lucky. I'm happy we took it in the end.
For a secondary kill. The bias already hold that rifle doesn't do too much more. And Emort and they're staggering, using all of their bodies, but they line up for the double. It's the news. And Daniel Fly looking for overtime. Oh, hold on a second. Some passes from the bot.
Of course, I want to take revenge against ENCE.
Outsiders won't get revenge.
Eight teams have now become 2. They're trying to get some major practice in before Rio. But glory, which is what we see over and over again in Counter-Strike, will only be had by one team at the end of the day as they lift this trophy. Are you guys ready for the grand finals? Now we'll start to bring on our first team. They've had a very clean run, but it hasn't just been easy for ENCE. They've been fighting back and forth, some close game against outsiders, and they've now got to do it here in the grand final. Rotterdam, make some noise for ENCE! Now outsiders, they thrive in chaos. They've got that slow, drawn-out CS that you know and love. You can meme on Game Time all you like, but you saw the clutches he pulled off earlier. You saw the damage he was able to do, and they'll be looking to do it here again with a bunch of young guns along the side of them. Rotterdam, are you ready? For outsiders! And these are your teams. They're going to go and take their seats, but I'm going to grab Saw by the side of me. Dastan, come down here and join me as well, please, buddy. Saw, you had a very tough best of 1 against outsiders. Not an easy team at all, and you've just played a best of 3. How are the guys feeling? What did you talk to them about? How ready do you feel?
I mean, we just got even more energy from the match, and we are really hungry to win outsiders again. So we're just going to show it now. Just need to show it again.
Just need to show it again. Now, Dastan, this is not an easy opponent at all. You love these events, though. You told me, right? This is where you guys thrive. We can see some of the Kazakhstani flags out in the crowd as well. We can see this crowd ready for some epic CS once again. Are your boys ready? What did they do during this bit of time off between the first game? Did you watch the ENCE game at all?
We watched, but not at all, because it was different maps. But we go to hotel, take a rest, and now we are ready. That's all.
Now they're ready. Guys, you can go take your seats. Thank you very much. Shake hands, all the good stuff. Rotterdam, Counter-Strike fans around the world, we're about to get into the grand final. Let me hear you. Are you ready for this? Let's go!
Thank you, Banks. I can tell you one thing, the crowd is ready for this matchup. The crowd is excited. The crowd is ready to get into the action, into the fray here between ENCE and outsiders. But the key question is going to be, what maps are they going to be on? It's time to find out, Alan. Anything you're looking for?
Permaban should be easy enough, but in terms of the picks, it's a tricky one for both teams. I think ENCE are in a little bit of trouble. I'm not sure where they're going to go in this veto. My guess is going to be Mirage. Mirage has looked a little bit shaky in this tournament. They look shaky up against outsiders, but I just feel like for them, there isn't a safe pick here because Nuke goes out the window. That is outsiders Permaban.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting as well for outsiders because Inferno, that is ENCE's permaban. So ENCE's best map, outsiders' best map is also out of the window. So the question is if they are going to go for that Dust 2, which they have played at least many times throughout the last 3 months. And if the Vertigo pick is coming out from ENCE, I love that. They saw how outsiders were struggling on that earlier.
Yeah, I thought it was actually going to be Overpass. for the Ents guys. I just felt like maybe it looks like they don't have the form on it recently, but we just haven't seen Outsiders play it at all. They played it once with this entire lineup, but I do like the Vertigo. Ancient as the decider. This is a crazy map pool, Mike. This is grand final, third map on Ancient. That could be fireworks.
I kind of love it. Dust 2, Vertigo, and Ancient. 3 maps where it feels like things can get wild. Things can spin out of control before you know it. I mean, look, there's only so much cool calculated CS you could do when you're getting op down on Dust 2. And as we saw earlier, Sun Pius, Jame, those ops, they're going to be a focal point for this matchup one way or another, Hedgie.
Yeah, I mean, it was like an episode of Stranger Things earlier where also in front of the Dutch, it's not a Jame time. He's going for the clutch, and Sampayas, he was shining the brightest on that Ents lineup, particularly on Nuke. We're not gonna get that here, but on Dust 2, that is equally as an exciting op map as Nuke would be, and this is going to be phenomenal.
Yes, it is. It's going to be an amazing time. Thank you so much for joining us throughout the weekend. But without further ado, it's time to get this grand final underway. Ents, Outsiders, who's it's going to be? It's going to be James, Bardolph, and Yumi to take you through this final game.
Today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable, high-tech, and in-demand programs, including data analytics, fashion, teaching, animation, and game design. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
It's your journey. Own every mile in the Hyundai Santa Fe. Now get a Santa Fe for 1.9% APR. As always, with Hyundai complimentary maintenance. Visit your local Hyundai dealer.
Pop clap fizz, yeah, that's it. You do you, I do me, that's lit. I'm a snack, 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 snack. That's my flavor.
Chips Ahoy, here for happy.
Grand final time, live from Rotterdam. Challenger finals are here, a top-heavy tournament, perhaps in teams, but also in money. $50,000 for first place is very juicy indeed, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially for both these teams that want to accomplish things before their chance at the Rio Major. It's about setting that precedent that you are not a team to be messed with. This might even be a preview of what's to come.
Indeed, there is also, of course, a place in the conference up for grabs, which I believe will be taken by Virtus Pro because Ents should be in there already. So it's about the money, it's about using that XP to try and get your A game now because there isn't too much time to wait in that respect. It is going to be a very interesting final. You heard from the desk talking about the maps that we have for this series could be quite interesting indeed, especially if we end up on an ancient decider. But Dust 2 to begin with. What is your pick? Do you have a pick for the two teams in this series?
I think it's just so close to call because Outsiders present themselves in such a composed way every time we see them. I think even if Ents play their A game, Outsiders will find a way to grind them down. They're a team that constantly push teams to the limit, and to see them have the chance at, like they were mentioning on the desk, actually a LAN finals, being able to show that they are champions of something in front of an audience as well. Again, more preparation for what's ahead of this squad, but I don't know how to call this one.
It's going to be quite interesting indeed. I have no prediction. I just want to hear one from you. I am going to wait to see what finds out. I'll tell you who I picked once the final is over. Dust 2 will be the first map of the series. If you're joining us late, Vertigo and Ancient, should it be required, will come second and third. Dust 2, a classic map, one of the oldest that we've ever had in Counter-Strike, continues to prevail. Dust 2 and James, no strangers to each other, and it begins now. Grand final from Rotterdam. Make some noise, guys!
The Outsiders map pick will be our landing zone for map number 1, Dust 2, and a T-side start for James and crew. And we know that the Ents guys can certainly pack a punch. We had that semi-final that went a certain distance. Both semi-finals, all 3 maps, and we'll see who comes out better in the pistol, and struggled to get any over the line in their semis. Maybe they can break that curse nice and early versus the Outsiders.
Yeah, both teams had to work hard for the final. Outsiders mounting some comebacks after some big deficits on maps, and of course, Ents doing it pistol-less in the previous series. Maybe they could change their fortune now. Snappy, though, will take one in the face as he tries to make his way towards mid and do something. Not the start they were looking for, but they still have 4 players alive. They still have range on long with Diha, looking for a fatal connection. See Norbert moving through with the Glock now, trying to close that distance as best he can. Jay will certainly help with 2 headshots, and there's Fame as well. So it seems Disaster will continue to be consistent for Ents and pistol rounds here today.
Yeah, losing so many pistols this tournament, but this one looked far too easy. Outsiders getting a number of kills without any real reciprocation. It's James and Fame that are able to do all the damage. So Valde may even just try and save. He has armor, he has a kit, he has a flash. He's got resources to bring into that next round, and Outsiders are hunting him.
How often do you see on a pistol round an entire team chasing a saving CT? That is not something that you see every day. Would have been interesting to see a defuse kit brought into the next round. Not something you always see, assuming they go for a force buy there. Often lacking in defuse kits, but it's not to be. Very present, very aware are Outsiders in this first round. Lots of success. That P250 really equalizes down long again, almost doubling the range. Certainly competitive versus that USP. CTs will lose their advantage in that respect, and that force buy will come through. Of course, St. Pius will leave enough money for an AWP later on. Double scouts for Ents in this CT team, and Outsiders will have to find a way to avoid this.
He saw some devastating work from Pius. He was red hot in the semifinals, but Outsiders had some other elements. We had Fame, Flit activating at certain points. James had some great clutches. Star power across the board, we know that for sure. That's why they made it to the grand finals over teams that have had star performers themselves show up, but maybe not when they needed them most. We know Outsiders are going to play a slow game. They always do. They'll mix in a couple of fast rounds. When we saw them against Ents earlier in the tournament, it was Mirage as the landing zone. They tried a couple of fast rounds versus Ents that Ents appropriately dealt with.
Short's been taken. It's pretty standard stuff in a T round on Dust 2. But where is the bomb headed? Back and forth it goes. As we see some lurk smokes asking questions of the A bomb site. Now with 3 players committed to B here for ENCE. Where the bomb going to go towards A? You would ask questions about a save, but in fact it is coming straight in their direction with force, as we can see. A smoke to try and delay things by that door. How awkward will this be for Outsiders? Who goes in first? Someone's got to swing. See Valde getting close to that CZ, and the bomb is at his feet now. Maiden comes in with a headshot, and things are really turning against his favor all of a sudden.
The bomb dropped inside of the site, and Valde gave it up. He wanted to try and prioritize his life, make sure he didn't go traded and hold that numbers advantage. But now that they found Norbert, it's a 1-on-2, and Fame's not got that bomb down yet. He has to try and go for something cheeky here, but he won't be allowed it. It's a Valde hold, a 3K on the round, and they overturn that pistol loss.
A positively unlikely round there for ENCE. That smoke grenade on the door really, really helping them out. Mudden with the headshot from the scout, making things incredibly awkward for Outsiders. Great discipline from Valde, not taking the bait on that first bomb plant either, just waiting. Knew it was unlikely, goes in on the second one. And there's nothing else to be done by Outsiders. That is a difficult round to lose. Now the 4 spies will continue, but this time it's in their hands with the single scouts onto James. They still managed to take long, and Norbert could fight through with the Galil here. 35 bullets won't be enough to kill Snappy though. That is such an important trade for Snappy. That could have been catastrophic for the ENCE squad, and this still could be with what's happened at the moment.
A bit of a miscommunication, because it seemed like they weren't sure whether they wanted to fight for long or concede it, and just that's what gets Sampaius killed. Snappy on his 2 HP is going to be very crucial, but Madden, they're spamming for him, so he wants to take this fight, but he will eventually be found. That's the M4 drop. Diha trying his best to take his place, and he will deliver a trio of frags. It's only Flit that remains, and he can't finish off the job. A 4K from Diha. We had Valde with 3 the round prior, so it's multi-kills back-to-back for ENCE.
Looking like some early frustration in the ENCE camp. Again, if you're going to have a problem, have it now, have it early, where you've got time to recover afterwards, and recover they did. Diha handing out tickets, now serving number 3, number 4, holding down the A bomb site. Very crucial delivery. A man who's been aggressive all weekend, always good for a multi-frag, always dependable in a high-pressure situation. And there's another example. Steadying the ship for ENCE, putting Outsiders in eco territory. This is a poverty round for the T squad. They don't really have much to work with here. A few P250s, not much else. A very honest round from Outsiders.
Tried to bait out that he was full flash, just going for the spam as ENCE were trying to get aggressive, but Diha won't pursue. I think recognizing now as well because of the Glock firing bullets. There has been no investment here from the Outsiders, so this is looking like it should be an ENCE third, but I know that there are no guarantees. They just haven't seen a round like this all tournament. Diha, good stuff. His sharpshooting continues, and Sampaius is there as well. Made up for the mistake that he made on long, so he's there to make sure he doesn't get overrun.
Jane will not be saving in this round. He needs to die. It is a requirement in order to receive his loss bonus, to get the toys he wants. But he's not going to make it easy for them. A restless CT could yield a kill, so he's just trying to be as efficient as possible. The Brofist will be deployed in the ENCE squad. A promising start to this game. Hasn't always been the case in today's action for ENCE, but certainly looking good right now.
It's funny, we used to characterize teams like Astralis when they were at their height as teams that can always make the comeback. But Outsiders, even if you find yourself in a great position over them, they're another team that never allow you just an easy victory. Whether it's they very rarely end up with 16-7 score lines. They will answer back, get themselves to double digits, and pressure you till the final minute. The spy from Outsiders isn't ideal. James missing the weapon he saves the most. Wondering if one of his star riflers can step up to the plate. We've seen some great entry work from Flit.
Minute 25 on the clock. Outsiders taking the short position. One must establish presence to try and stretch your opponent out. Threaten to go multiple directions. Try and find a weakness and exploit it later on. And sometimes that can be in habits. For example, we can see Modern moving past double doors towards the A bomb site. If you're able to kill the CT playing around spawn, do the CT team respond similarly when that happens, that it always rotate a player from X to Y. Is that something you can exploit? All things to be observed in demos during the game. Players looking to play around these smokes. Perhaps he will spot one player making his way down, but what else is going on? Hold on a second, they had the information, but they didn't find the frag. How long can he stay here for? He needs a multi-frag, but will he be able to get one? The bomb carrier has dropped, but there will be a trade. They're in the red. Snappy doing what he can, but he cannot pick off Keycut. Valde doesn't have position. He might get a kill from this, but doesn't even go for it. Doesn't seem like he will.
Thought for sure Sampaias was at an angle that they would have been able to clear just by seeing his barrel, but it seemed as though it was perfectly hidden. Outsiders not expecting the extra elevation, but they cut down both of the rotationary players. So Valde, yeah, after they lose the sight, just has no way in. So great job scaling there from Outsiders. A number of contributions. Kickert with 2 kills for this round. And this is the thing, when we looked at Outsiders before, I know we noticed when we saw them against Fluxo, you know, they were certainly tested on this map. And I think it was Hedgie that brought it up on the desk and had this this overview saying that there were certain timings that were exploited. That is something that you can find out from demos, kind of similar to what you're saying, but that was the Outsiders CT side they had to be concerned about mainly. If you're ever going to be proficient at anything, usually you develop habits. So if they can find those small exploitations, that would certainly go a long way, because ENCE have to be working on that tirelessly, given that the roster is so fresh.
See what the buy looks like for the squads afterwards. So indeed, Flit spotted jumping down, but Martin could not get in position to find that kill. Flit too fast. There is that very important trade from Kicker. If he doesn't get that, then maybe the round looks very different indeed, with the bomb dropped in that short position. Early kill, speaking of Kicker, we won't even see him in this round. Deleted very quickly. Early 5v4 for ENCE, with the 1AWP on the server at present. Jay may be hunting for him later on, but they've got bigger issues at hand here, Outsiders.
Flash is great. Sampaias was holding the angle, and Outsiders are able to take some space, or at least threaten as much. Diha re-clears it for him and makes sure the Molotov as well into the cubby, so nothing escapes the eyes of ENCE. And now Outsiders will have to accelerate at some point or another. They had a plan for this mid-pressure, but Snappy's being a little bit nefarious around this smoke. They're trying to move past the short smoke themselves, and Snappy won't find any damage. Flit a clean entry.
Yeah, that was quite a high variance situation for Snappy, not in his favor on this occasion. But Diha may find some angles against these multiple assailants. Not enough damage to get that second frag, however. He's got some information. Maiden trying to swing James, not quite ready, but somehow gets a kill. Pivotal moment in this round. Because see Sampaias still thinking about it, but James is thinking about that AWP. Hopping up, still alive for the time being, and he's falling back because he realizes if he dies there, then maybe that encourages them to go for the round. He'll have to disengage, and so will they.
They were setting up for a double jump up onto the boxes as well, so if he stuck around, very likely to have been traded. Early stages of this half have not been kind to the opening hands of James. Rifling in this round, but still able to find his contribution, and a critical one at that. That looked like a kill that Martin gets every day of the week, but not to be this time over. An equalizer here for the Outsiders. Gonna start to see more aggressive moves at a certain point. Usually teams will get pushed to make decisions like it. We certainly saw Diha exploring options earlier in this game already. But as Outsiders start to creep their way and start to breathe down the neck of these players, these small errors can be a big thing to be capitalized upon.
Really rough position for Snappy around the smoke he deployed there. Showing lots of leg. ENCE are able to buy around what they held on to. Have a look at this angle from Marden. Says hello, pops back. He's got some cover from Sampaias as he exits the situation. Went fishing. Didn't find anything but a boot. Nothing, no harm done though. Minute 30 on the clock. And it may take a little longer for Outsiders to head to that short position as they clear lower tunnel and mid.
Yeah, the way they're grouped up at the minute and the way they still hover around long, it seems like they're going to try and take it a little later into the round. ENCE with some early utility is keeping them deterred. Now rerouting. Seeing if they can make use of the deep mid position. Like you said, clearing the lower tunnels has been accomplished, so Flit can now be left to his own devices. This is something Outsiders like to do. They like running 4-1, but not in the way that teams traditionally go for. They like sending a player to be aggressive early for information, but ENCE are playing close, and Flit's already gone.
Perfect timing from Mudden. Not going to re-peek that, falling back a little. Awkward now for both teams, but Valde gets one, trying to fall back himself. He's going to spray, find the bomb, and James. There goes the AWP, down for the CZ, and they clean up without losing a single player. That was awkward for ENCE as well. They had the MP9 behind the long doors with no utility, not able to rotate there or really find any information, but they got the kills they needed to, all the kills in fact. Great timing on the utility to shut down Outsiders.
And not many times you see two players holding so close to the upper tunnels as well. So once Martin got spotted, Valde could fully capitalize. They never cleared for his position. They were so focused on chasing down Martin and then looking at door, window as the rotating player, but they were double committed. They had a good read.
Shades of Smiths with that peak before the AWP was nerfed many moons ago, eons perhaps. Norbert with the hero AK in this round, trying to open up the long position, but he's got more work to do. He has one more to find. At the very least, the flashes are here. He's able to get the kill with support from Kickert. 2 down in long. Those are rifles to be collected by Outsiders.
Yeah, some Pius wanted to stick around and hold those weapons, but I think he started to think about the potential short pinch. Now refocusing. This is a vulnerability, but Diha does move to make sure he doesn't die for free. Outsiders have so many options. The fact that they've got utility around this hero AK, like you're saying, they've opened up new possibilities with these recovered rifles.
What do ENCE do, though? There are 3 players. They're all spread out. They can't trade frag. Hard to argue. I mean, they have some map control for the time being, but they're going to be up against a lot of players, more than half of which have Kevlar in this round as well, so they're not as squishy as you may think. They don't have flashbangs for some pop flash plays, but they've got to work together if they can, Ed.
Yeah, it's not uncommon we see teams go for gamble stacks in a situation like this, but Outsiders are a team that's punished that continuously. Some Pius, no one's watching your short, and he overexposes himself, so he got digged up by Glocks and the rifles alike, and now an AWP that can make its way into James' hands, no problem whatsoever, an after plant that Outsiders will have no contest in. ENCE are out of this round.
That was so rough for them. Sitting ducks across the map versus the numbers game for Outsiders. The AWP holding down one too many jobs on the A-bomb site. Wall of smoke to take the rifles on long and then re-emerge on short later as long is still being focused upon. Outsiders with 1 AK in this round. Don't lose a single player. They've barely taken any damage. 494 HP in essentially an eco round.
And the best part about it is they get an AWP for free. If there's anything James loves, it's having money in the bank account. And just the fact he's able to steal that one away, hasn't been investing much into the AWP so far this half, but when you can collect on the returns, or I guess the investments of your opponent, you will take it every single time. That's a crazy round for Outsiders to win because of the heroics out towards long.
The individual play, got to give credit to Kickert for that support flashbang as well. Light on utility, light on rifles, but they were very efficient in how they took long. And to the victor, the spoils. We see the shortcomings in the economy now for ENCE. The MP9 is out once more for Snappy, the FAMAS for Martin. They will yield more utility from the lower buys, and they'll be able to take long on this occasion. Let's see what Snappy chooses to do on this occasion. Last time he was behind the door. Where is he headed to this time? If he goes towards the pit, for example, then he could have some support flashes for his team to peek later. But with the MP9, that's a pretty tall order.
Yeah, it was a massive swing round to lose last time over. Any buffer that ENCE had has been reinvested in this round, so if Outsiders can get another one, that would be great. But some Pius strikes first. The shot from Flit just slightly astray from the head. So things slow down once again. Flit's usually the enabler for Outsiders to progress into bomb sites, so how on earth do they navigate around this one?
Outsiders have the full util for an execute, but Kickert is isolated, blinded by the flash, dropping the bomb as well, and now Martin could try to buy some time for his team. Even with the util, this is wasting so much time for Outsiders. The more time that's wasted, the more their options are limited. You can see Fame trying to keep them open, but he's barely alive himself now, 3 HP, and he has to disengage as well.
This is disastrous. They have one smoke, one flash. I wouldn't be surprised if they call a save here. It's not outside the Outsiders catalog. They know they got away with some dirty business the last round. Would be important for ENCE to recover the weapons that have been felled. And yeah, 12 seconds, Outsiders call it quits. Guns dropped on short, and I don't think that Snappy or Madden will get there quick enough. No, Madden should be able to collect. Very nicely done here from ENCE, and not even just satisfied with the one kill onto Flip, they re-aggress into them, and Outsiders weren't expecting that at all.
Indeed, they stopped Outsiders from dictating the pace. They want to take short. They want to have that presence, that threat of the A-bomb site, regardless of where they choose to go. So the re-aggression from ENCE, the pop flash, tasted their own medicine versus what KitKat did to them earlier with the support flash on long. And ENCE find themselves 5 versus 4. Threatening unpredictability now. Will it be respected by Outsiders? That was a close one, that AWP shot. Diha will say hello with a high explosive grenade. If you got a good spawn, that could be pretty meaty if a lot of people are coming through the tunnel. And again, with that smoke especially, we'll thwart some timing for Outsiders. Of course, there's always urgency to take that short position, and KitKat's on the way.
If you're going to be properly aggressive in the lower tunnels, you're not likely to announce your presence with a nade. So didn't slow down the Outsiders as much as maybe ENCE were hoping. They're grouped up on short, and they're ready to rock and roll. A-bomb site is seeing a bit of siege. Some Molotovs, some smokes are down. The flash was over, but they didn't spot a single body on ENCE. They were hoping that that information could give them more to work off of, but all these smokes that are down, they're not even committing out with it.
Nobody in spawn for ENCE, and that means there's only 2 players towards the B-bomb site. One on the inside, one currently out. But where Outsiders, where are they threatening to go? Is this a double pump towards the A-bomb site, perhaps, after the initial smoke grenades and the counter utility thrown by ENCE? They don't have that anymore. Norbert still lurking outside long, as there is a big concentration of players in this short position. Split, will he be dropping? Indeed he will, but Snappy's got a grenade out. Horrible timing for him, and big opportunity for Outsiders. A swing and a miss from St. Pius, and surely they can shut this down now. 22 seconds, Fame alone with the bomb, wins a crucial duel, and there's nothing left for ENCE to do.
Yeah, they were burning time, so if for some reason they were able to drop that bomb, it could have been a little panic stations there for Outsiders, but their timing is perfect. They throw that mid to B smoke, and Snappy starts to make his way over to try and support his B players, just get some information about whether they're coming up the ramp or not. And as he did so, nade out and in the wrong spot. Very well done, very well called here from the Outsiders, and Valde's gun is gone as well. They don't really have the best of funds here on ENCE, so keeping hold of what little they can would be ideal, but Outsiders play this game themselves. They know where you're likely to save. Diha getting a couple of kills, but they commit too much. Flit unable to find the trade. Diha stands his ground, 3 kills, but it will be an Outsiders round.
Very, very threatening, this Outsiders squad. And we can see the importance of that short position for them with the multitude of utility they offered, and then they sent the forces in to do the job. 5-5. There will be a buy for both squads, including SMGs for both squads. Outsiders, connoisseurs of the MAC-10 and the MP9 are on the bus, and the bus is into the B-bomb site. They're all here. The passengers are on the way. Diha blind but alive for now. Got to find some kills quickly. There's 2, a third one from Valde as well. Great support from these CTs on B.
Wow, can't believe Diha even gets away with 1 kill there because he was blind for so long, but a 2-on-4. They don't want to just go for a plant because ENCE are right around the corner. If they go, it means that one person has to have their gun out, the other would not. And ENCE are playing it patient. They're waiting for that timer to tick, but now that smoke is fading as well. They'll try and cheat through it. Fame finds Madden for free, but they're both brought so low within an inch of their life. Outsiders, can they somehow make it out of a round like this?
They still have a minute on the clock. Surely they try and find a kill somehow. But how? Snappy patiently waiting. Look at his timing. Okay, second burst and he gets there. Split 1 versus 3, 9 HP. Not today, sir. The round will be taken by ENCE as well as the AWP. That was quite the initial hold. I feel like everybody was blind. It was almost a stalemate for a second as that people waited for their vision to come back. then a flurry of kills from ENCE allowed them to finish off the job afterwards.
I said that in the last time they played, they like to throw in a couple of these faster rounds at ENCE, and I think this time as well, because they had that SMG alongside them, felt incentivized and just couldn't track down these players quick enough. Diha regained his vision in time. He had a lot of support as well from the doors and the window. There were just no trades for the outsiders.
Sniper rifles are out. There'll be a quick boost for James. Quite likes being by that Xbox position, looking through the doors, waiting for an ill-timed rotation in either direction from the CTs. But everybody's familiar with that. Flit getting sprayed to 35% of his life, and the HG to follow up won't go deep enough. Could have been curtains for him, but he's still on stage. Now, does Norbert maybe take his rifle at this point? Does Flit? Is his job now just to wide swing, die, and create space for someone to trade? We'll have to keep an eye on that for later on.
Short will again be the priority here for the outsiders. They've been able to make these A plays pretty successfully. It's one of those spots as well that can be hard to read as a CT side. Can threaten the mid to B, they can burst out onto A, and if they find entries nice and quick, it's very hard for the rotating players to have any contribution. ENCE are left in the dark.
There's a world where... Okay, never mind, they've changed roles. Flit's gone towards long. If he went for his normal jump into CT and got tagged with a bullet, that would have been quite interesting. He is joining his team though, heading towards lower. Maybe a more passive role with his 27 HP. It will be Modern trying to create some space on this bomb site. Valde looking to clear the tunnels. Flit still alive for now. Just needs to connect one more time, Valde, and he'll be able to do that. Only sees one player there. Big problems on the A bomb site though. Modern by that goose spot, just waiting for this push. They're stuck at the moment, outsiders, and that's allowing time for the CT rotation. Modern will be dropped, but has he done enough? Snappy is here as well. Bomb planted, 3-on-3.
Pius went for the jump shot and he got punished immediately. Diha as well could get nothing on his rotation. So now it's a Valde 1 versus 3. Was awkward in fights with Flit, but it's a fast headshot onto Fame. He's got time to play with. There's kits en route, and Valde's trying to make a good go of it. James, low HP, and Norbert just jiggling, waiting to get that information. He finally spots him, and I think Valde's now called it quits. Outsiders will hold on. They will get a tying round up to 6.
Very close affair on Dust 2 at present, but it might not stay that way for long because the money is not spectacular for ENCE, putting it mildly, as outsiders tie the score.
I simply can't believe they let the time go down that low as well. They knew that Goose was the only compromising position with the smoke that was down on the bomb site, and they didn't have a spare flash to be able to funnel that player out. That was the key duel that was won. Just if you're able to get that bomb dropped for even a moment, outsiders probably wouldn't have had enough time to plan.
Important kills coming through around the bomb site. Valde in the clutch, but oh, the arm, Jamie's being teased. Does he go for the wallbang or is he patient? Avoids the bait. St. Pius is doomed. Just had enough information there, James. Had the discipline, the patience as well. AWP collected, but I don't know if they'll be able to beat James. There is a scout in the hands of Dihar as well, so things are looking rough for ENCE.
Yeah, deep commitment on the buy. They were really hoping they could find an advantage early. They've instead lunged further into the darkness, and outsiders are going to try and capitalize, move into aggressive positions up towards this A bomb site. Diha has no info about how close they can be. Flit is much further ahead of the pack, but Norbert's applying a lot of pressure. Diha goes for the reload, and Flit can take his spot and make sure he cannot escape. There's more damage being attempted there from ENCE as well from long, so they know that where the danger positions are, but for ENCE, saving this up again would be ideal. Outsiders will be moving up to 7. I think that's the guarantee.
Snappy trying to find something in a thrift store. Apart from that, the teammates of his will be trying to hold things down on the B bomb site. From roughly where Kicker is, you can actually smoke CT for the cross from long. Good one to learn if you're going to be lurking to cut off rotation on short later on. That blue wall to the left on the corner, lining up with the boxes to deploy a lovely smoke grenade into CT. Not one that you see so common these days. Used to be more common in years past. And there we go. Outsiders now in the lead, 7-6. I think it'll be a relief for ENCE to finish this half, but what will they be able to finish with? They did save some weapons. Got to be real careful about peeking Jane with that saved AWP, though, through those mid doors, as he's just shown you.
Real danger, man. And you see the kill spread for the Outsiders. It is very well distributed. Everyone's having their contributions, whether it's with utility, but a lot of these trades as well have been good. The B-bomb side, I think, has been the one issue that I think Outsiders haven't been able to crack yet, but with the amount of success they're finding at A instead, there's no reason to believe they would stop attacking that site. Don't know how ENCE make the adaptation to reinforce it, because it feels like they are left guessing so frequently in these late rounds. Outsiders are doing a great job of just masking what they're doing at the start of rounds.
How did that tire get up there? Question we will never know the answer to. All right then, we have the hero AWP in the hands of Martin. There is an AK hero as well, but I would imagine that AWP is the one that needs to get to work. Now, what kind of nonsense have they got in mind? There's a smoke through mid, and they're looking behind it. Outsiders being quite careful, holding outside long. They know that ENCE have to do something desperate. They don't have all the tools they need. Oh, an arm, a forearm, a hand shown. Martin continues forward. Maybe a sound cue if he falls off now. No, nice and quiet. Does he scope in again? Looking for more. Oh, just an erratic movement. And they've lost the AWP now. Such time has passed that Flit gets 3 kills from lower tunnel. And this is not going to go well for ENCE at all.
Yeah, Val, they can't get anything with his AK. He saved over as well. So all the weapons, all the hope is gone. Outsiders have won this half, 8 so far. It's all about whether ENCE can cobble together a 7th, because while they can sustain a bye, they will be missing out on some utility alongside it. Outsiders feel like they've got all the answers. Even on that desperate play, they were playing so conservatively so that Martin couldn't find the opening pick. Waited for Flit to eventually clear out the lower tunnels before he could find the kill as well.
Saw one of those moments where you check a corner, but not really, but then see someone when you turn away and then go back, but actually get the kill. So impressive. Saw 2 AWPs going for some spam in this final round, but then Norbert, I think it was, will switch back to an AK-47 and leave the sniping in the hands of Jame. Some teams still like to go for a double AWP on the T side, but it does really slow you down, and I think Outsiders may be slow enough already. If it puts you off your own timing, then it can be a hindrance. What are the intentions here from Outsiders? They've caused ENCE so much pain from that short position. ENCE, though, still have 6 rounds on the board here with a potential 7, so it could be worse for them. Much pressure coming towards this B-bomb site. James tries to identify the makeup on the B-bomb site, but soon the pilgrimage will begin.
Valde, immediate smoke on the reaction, and D has plucked one out before the smoke at the doors as well. So Valde's playing around with the smoke he dropped, but Jame brought low, and Kickert's got the kill they needed. An equalizer, 3-on-3, and Flit's here to silence these rotates.
Carefully positioned around that slanted wall, not to reveal his position, but to punish the CTs for theirs. Smart stuff from him. We've got a rotation in T-spawn with no kit. That's a long journey, to put it mildly. 2 players remain, 1 in lower tunnel. Snappy could threaten to make a play. Hold on a second. How has that happened? He lost half his health to a late molly there. Trying to look for Flit, and Kicker will get a free one. 2 versus 1 now, not in favor of Martin. No kit, no more health. 9 rounds at halftime for Outsiders.
Man, what a half, considering the start that they had, but they made sure that ENCE were pressured from start to finish. We'll see how they conclude this first map after the break.
Ready to game the system? Meet Mana. You slay. You achieve. You win. So should your bank account, because your power shouldn't stop when the game does. Mana is the best gaming rewards debit card where you can earn perks and points by paying and playing and get rewarded with the things you actually want, like that skin you can't wait to show off or your next gear upgrade. So why pay any other way? Pay with Mana. Pay with power. Mana. Game the system.
Honda SUVs and trucks give you more. Save thousands more with 1.9% financing. Get more legroom, more cargo room, more power. In stock and available with 1.9%. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Learn and earn today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable, high-tech, and in-demand programs, including data analytics, fashion, teaching, animation, and game design. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
Move forward.
Moving forward.
Approach and engage.
Engaging.
Introducing Ruffles Ridge Twists, an airy twist on your favorite snack with a smoky barbecue flavor created by Asia Wilson. What a play by Ruffles. Find both flavors today.
Welcome back to ESL Challenger Rotterdam Grand Finals for first place $50,000. Now, Ents might feel like champions if they can simply win a pistol round, because it's been a while since they have.
Yeah. Struggles have continued even coming into this series. The tournament has not been kind, but Outsiders, with the half they had, if they jump start with their own pistol win, then this might just be a done deal. Senpai's taking a lot of damage, and James escaped the first engagement. They do at least have some players coming in support, but James there to see if he can find an easy head, but all these flashes, and they realize exactly what's going on. They had two players set up in CT already, and James gets two freebies, but Norbert's gone.
This could turn into Ents' favor with Snappy's position, get some extra range with the USP, and now things are very awkward for Outsiders. Indeed, moving forward actually, never mind playing from the pit, he's going to come and help his teammates. They're going to try and take it by force, but now starting to move back as they lose the numbers. Dihar's got more to do, one up top, one at the bottom. Almost like a game show, goes for the higher one, doesn't finish off the job though. 5 HP for Fame. There is a kit in the hands of Kicker. Snappy trying to find an angle. The bomb's not actually planted for him. Not planted for him at all. 5 HP Fame might just get there, and they've been robbed in another pistol round. The last kill won't matter. It goes the way of Outsiders.
That is unbelievable. The fact they try to go for the 10-second defuse when Kicker has the kit, but he was trapped CT, so he couldn't make that journey without Snappy getting chances at the kill. Oh, that is heartbreaking, because it felt like Ents might just be able to take it.
So close and yet so far from the angle to stop the bomb from being defused. What a crazy state of affairs.
And they had a great read on the pistol round there from Outsiders. I mean, with James' positioning, the way he kept piecing it together and how vulnerable he was going to be, what kind of timing he had, he could have made it to the ramp if he thought the hit wasn't coming out immediately, but once he escaped, it just opened up opportunities.
How many pistol strats can you throw Until it's time for the kitchen sink to try and figure something out there. Really going for something elaborate, ENCE, and still coming up just a little short. 10 rounds for Outsiders. They begin the half with double figures. Their pickoff does too, of course. You can see it in the top right. Vertigo, the pick of ENCE, feeling confident on that map. That will be our second map, and then Ancient, should it be required.
Double timeout being called, one on top of the other. So really wanting the extra time to discuss their options. I think they understand as well with how close things have been throughout that first half for Outsiders to have hit a stride coming out of the first and to win the pistol in the second. They have to put the fact that they lose all these pistol rounds behind them. They have come to expect it, I think, so far this tournament. But how do you best approach this? Because with each and every round, Outsiders are closer and closer, already up to double digits because of that 9-6 lead moving in. Can they overturn it like they did in the first half?
Bells being rung. Outsiders may be threatening to make a play up mid, but they will fall back and go for some more pot shots into that short position. Snappy and Pius in some trouble now. May not be long for the world in round 17. Weapons will be switched accordingly, according to health. Long will not be contested by Outsiders. Dihar having a look-see. If you haven't seen too much of Dihar this weekend, then more fool you, because he's been quite exciting to watch. 15 frags in the first game of the grand final, continues to run hot.
More and more tags just keep on coming through for the Outsiders, so there's only so many healthy bodies you have left. Trying to maybe find and capitalize. They have priorities, taking short because they lost long control, and Norbert will find it, so there is no second prong to the assault.
Footsteps surely to be heard. That scout has done so much damage, and they drop like flies. 3 plays to 5 for Outsiders. As all those scout tags really make things awkward. How do you duel after you've been shot by a scout, after 3 of your players have been shot? I don't know how to solve that one.
Crazy contribution from James, but didn't get the kills himself, just simply set up his teammates. Yeah, I mean, you look at how many assists he gets in just that one round. 3 just all in one kill feed. I think worry starts to creep in here for ENCE. Even the fact that, I mean, a team like Fluxo pushed Outsiders so heavily. Sure, they might have limit tested them and probably helped them in the long run. Just the idea that their Dust 2 was a little vulnerable, but something that they were confident enough to pick in.
Notepad covering half the keyboard. Not even full size.
Old habits, perhaps.
You can really, like for FPS games, you can really tear down your keyboard quite a bit. It's a sub 60%, not really worth it though. 65% is the premium spot. You heard it here first. Pistols are out for ENCE, things looking somewhat dry. They have a deagle here and there. There's the first one, Martin with 2. All right then. Maybe there's some potential. James was definitely feeling the urgency to find something, looking one way, shot in the back of the head now. Close casket funeral for him. Nothing but domes being delivered by ENCE.
Oh, there's a couple back there from Fame though, so this still makes it contestable, and they have not been able to find him as of yet. He's so elusive, tucks himself at the back of the bomb site, and he's waiting for reinforcements before allowing this duel, but Fame will instead handle it himself. That looked incredibly dangerous for Martin to open up with 2 insta-deags, and then James died as well. That could have been a round that falls outside of the Outsiders' pedigree.
Quite a scary round for Outsiders, and quite good for ENCE. They did great damage to the CT economy. Great chance to build on that now, to capitalize on that impact as they reach a situation where they need to double their score to tie the score. It starts now. AWP onto both sides. We saw what James could do with the scout. We'll see if he's even more dangerous in round 19. This is where Ents can build, though. They gave themselves some potential, an opportunity with those Deagle kills. Long has been taken. Won't really be contested by outsiders. A run past the angle. Snappy has to be careful, though, because there is rifle support for this AWP. And it's starting to move up as distraction is being run in a short position. This looks very awkward for outsiders, just as it did for Ents on the A-bomb site. So many rounds. Still want to find in the smoke. Snappy with an inquisitive burst will find him. And outsiders will disengage.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they lose those A-side players, it is a call to save. It feels like outsiders do it every single time, but they know that this is a long game, and they always play the economy as such. Ents will be happy enough with the way that this round has succeeded. Like you said, the posturing up with all the damage that was done in the previous round does actually put outsiders in a spot where saving these weapons has massive benefits.
Yeah, this is standard, and it's important. The faster you can make this call, the better. The more likely you are to be able to hold on to your weapons. It just gives you more buy rounds. We can see Fame just shy of $3,000. Norbert may be able to buy for himself, so keeping it together for another buy round. Get as many buy rounds as you can, say outsiders.
It's also cool to just see the mentality differ between the two teams. When Ents tried to save at any point on their CT side, they were getting hunted.
Even in the pistol round.
Yeah, they were making sure that nobody survived and that the money, it was as expensive as possible continuously, but Ents get their round clean with 5 and they simply sit. They let themselves just stew in the moment for an extra few seconds. Outsiders went with lethality in the first half.
And outsiders will go with a HE grenade to cross towards the B bomb site, saving the smoke grenade. So much dirt is kicked up with those HE grenades. Very underrated in that respect. We've seen some vintage Blaze on Dust 2 with a HE grenade actually from JW back in the day. Throwing a grenade on the corner of Long and then spraying the doors from behind it.
Yeah, those are dirty moves. They do feel like you never really have a fair fight. All about taking small advantages where you can find them. People have been using that with Molotovs more and more frequently as well.
I've seen some great clutches on this bomb site with the mollies to obscure vision. Jame waves to Ents as they take short. And there's time on the clock here for Ents. Again, establishing normal map control. The taking, the crouch peek there, some pass going for the flick but not connecting. The taking of short by the T's increases the urgency, the importance of Long for outsiders. Should it be an A play, they'll need Long for the retake. Still, with Flit in the middle doors, no guarantee it's going to be A just yet. Oh, that's a big frag. That opens all the doors now for Ents.
Yeah, probably likely to link up as well. Valde's still lurking inside those upper tunnels, and it's smoked off right now, so it doesn't have a sight line, but he's hoping that the ramp players will take attention. Kickert's at least mowing the first player down. The second as well. Martin doesn't even get to fire off shots, but caught on the reload. Fame will finally trade it out, and running through that smoke, Valde finds nothing, but the some pious miss. It couldn't have come at a more inopportune time, because outsiders have help, and they will get themselves another.
That is a solid hold on the B bomb site. Looked like they were in all kinds of trouble, and they were. But they just won the duels. They held down that bomb site. Very reliable players in the right positions to deliver. You can see how awkward it was for Kicker. He found 2, and Fame was able to get a trade. He forced Snappy to go all the way in to expose himself to guarantee the trade, or all but guarantee the trade. Tactical timeout now from outsiders, who are 3 rounds away from winning their pick of Dust 2. But as we can see, there are rifles coming their way in the hands of Ents.
That felt like a round that they are well rehearsed in playing themselves, outsiders. You know, get a kill in through mid and just immediately pounce at that opportunity. They love doing it as well, even if they find kills on A. Feels like they'll find any reason to bounce between bomb sites. So I think just making sure that everyone's on the same page, that they don't let rounds like that slip, because Fame has been great at recovering some of the urgent rounds. You know, we even saw in the double kill for Martin on the Deagle. Fame was the one that got all of those frags as well. So while it's good that he is performing, outsiders just need to ensure that there's a bit more reliability across the board.
Again, the HE grenade gets CT's past the gap. And Long has been taken by Ents. Now with Ents taking Long, what do they make of the situation across the rest of the map? We'll often see a T side go for Long early and wait a fair amount of time. We can see them molling the car already, but what are outsiders up to here?
Yeah, they've cleared the B-side tunnels, so they can actually start to stack more and more presence over towards long. The question is about whether it's going to get there in time. They made this call as soon as they cleared upper, but they're actually still fighting for it. Norbert trying to get through that smoke. It's a free kill for Mod, and the flash didn't quite align, and Jame makes sure that they're cut one thin before the site.
Deploying some incendiaries towards the site itself. That'll buy time for potential rotations or better positioning for Outsiders. Fame and Flit will come through with some smoke frags. And now we're in a 4 versus 2. Outsiders found the information they needed, and they will punish. Dihar will have to go for the hardest plant to defend. No spicy angles, and down goes Dihar with a boost. So it's Sampayas now versus 3. He gets another 1v1, but Kika just about gets there. We saw the scope, but we didn't see the shot. Kika will clutch the round for Outsiders.
Oh, the timing there for Sampayas hurts as well. There was a gap around the smoke. He was scared to get about being pushed on the left-hand side, but then he just couldn't cover his teammate at the time that they decided to boost. If he had Dihar on the bomb side, it might have been doable, but not when he's alone. Bolt of the AWP too slow. Yeah, that's so unfortunate. Gets the kill post-mortem, but doesn't matter. Outsiders inch closer and closer, up to 14. They have once again got themselves in a position where they can just trounce the ENCE side. And they've only gone that one round on this T side so far. The one success where they had 5 survivors.
How do they break this curse, ENCE? This is proving to be a very difficult game of Dust 2. Just the one round to show for us at present, and that won't be enough when Outsiders are very far ahead indeed, and not far away from Vertigo. Outsiders looking strong. Fame with 17 kills now, same as Dihar, who has been delivering for ENCE, who have a Galil for this round. But they're not delivering the rounds in this second half, and they're running out of opportunities to do so. No HE grenade, and Fame will pay for that. Down to 12 HP, one of 2 AWPs, in fact, in this round for Outsiders. So they've changed things up a little bit. And they've got 3 players committed to the B bomb site, maybe expecting something fast based on that tag.
Fame's got the AWP, and they're playing close as well. It's all about whether they pull the pin on this timing. Heard the nade being primed, and so jumping around the corner. The first one's free. Fame still at the back of the site, and Kicker's there to support as well. They don't know that there's a third player here. They already dealt with one, and the AWP is still alive and kicking. Kicker makes sure that they can get no further than those tunnels. And Outsiders have put themselves at 15. Sampayas, I think, is just gonna try and save this, and they had to call it quits at the start of this round.
Fish in a barrel for Fame, and when you've got support like Kicker on the B bomb site, don't fancy the odds for ENCE. It's about survival now for Sampayas, and again, just like the pistol round in the first half, he will be hunted, the last player for ENCE. Game point now is reached for Outsiders. A solid performance on Dust 2 so far.
Yeah, this has been almost impossible to play in the second half. ENCE just don't feel like they can get anything off the ground. And the early call that they decide to do, they don't go for the standard mid control and then work from there, make an on-the-fly decision. They go straight for the execute, but Outsiders were there with 3. Do or die now here on our first map, and ENCE are left wanting. Jame aggressive, and the Deeg's out. He hits the 1 Deeg on this, just a spam. He was doing it off cooldown, but they can't get another follow-up frag. Fame try as he might, does retreat and try to play the numbers. ENCE, there's urgency because that Molotov is sticking them in place, and they know they can be boxed in as well.
They were trying to get through it faster, but it's still spread around the side. Sampayas gives them an option. He keeps them in the game. That bomb needs to get planted soon. We can see Outsiders starting to move through mid. One going towards short, one going towards long. Sampayas with an angle. Surely Flit looks towards the long corner. Indeed he does. And that would give Sampayas the jump to get the kill. That's going to make things real hard for Norbert now. Look at the bait there onto Snappy, though. That is fantastic from Norbert. Where is the other player? We'll expect him to be in basically the same position. Walking into the crossfire. Now the information is known. Dihar will win the duel. Ever confident Dihar. And Fame, his job has changed. Save the AWP. ENCE They'll get a much-needed round on the board, but they need to be perfect. They need to be perfect for the remainder of this half.
Yeah, critical kills from Sampaius in this round. It felt like the short aggression was never going to be the first point of contact, and as soon as he drew one player out into the open, that's when ENCE decided to pounce. That secondary kill on Long all but sealed the deal, so it's not quite over here for the Outsiders. ENCE are looking to try and contest this, but it would have to be overtime if they want any hope of winning this map, and it's still a long road ahead of them.
Huge duel for Sampaius. He cannot fail there. And again, the off angle is perfect. You can see Flick going for the wide swing. But most people are going to be looking at that long corner there. So all credit to Sampaius. ENCE are still alive for now. There appears to be a focus on that B bomb site for the ENCE squad, and Fame has got a nice lineup and all the information he needs. The bomb is at the B bomb site, and Split will try to support. This time, no dice. There could be flashes coming in for Fame. Indeed, there are as he faces the floor. One more is dropped. Valde will lose the bomb. Where's the rest of the squad? 2 versus 4. Diha and Sampaius trying to do what they can, but the cavalry keep coming for Outsiders.
They're so split as well. Diha playing around the smoke, but there's 3 in close proximity. It's Dink for Dink. 4 kills for Fame in the potentially 16th round here for Outsiders, and he keeps on tagging up Sampaius. Come on, do it. New addition, who cares? Fame could just finish this off with an ace, but Sampaius is trapped. They need heroics from him, and they can't do it. It will be James to finish it off. A 16-8 scoreline here on our first map. But ENCE couldn't get it done. Outsiders never let them in.
A statement performance from Outsiders in the opening map of the grand final. $50,000 on the line. A top-heavy tournament in terms of prize money. Lots to play for. Lots to break down from the desk after this break.
Get more MPGs with Honda. Honda is the most fuel-efficient automaker in America. That means you save at the pump with up to 40 miles per gallon. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Mom, we need to talk to you about Yorgos.
Don't you think it's a little odd he showed up in your life right when you became a gigillionaire?
He's a gig digger, Mom. He's using you for your AT&T fiber.
Now that it has hyper gig speeds, he spends half the day shirtless playing VR games.
Kids, why do you think I became a gigillionaire in the first place?
Yes, I am Yorgos.
We know.
Live like a gigillionaire with AT&T fiber. Now with speeds up to 5 gigs. Limited availability.
For the last time, he does not lay golden eggs. He's not even a goose. Yeah, thanks for always having my back. Like that one time I ate that tuna. And you helped me cover the bill. It is nice to know that if one of these arrows sent me to the hospital... Oh, you do lay golden eggs.
Aflac can help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover. Learn more at aflac.com and see DreamWorks Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, rated PG.
So, where did this egg come from?
Pop cut fizz, yeah, that's it. You do you, I do me, that's lit. I'm a snack, 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 snack. That's my flavor.
Chips Ahoy, here for happy.
What an astounding map 1 coming through from Outsiders. They look dialed in. They look polished. They looked absolutely killer. Not so much for ENCE, though. A little bit of concern there if you're in the camp of the Kraken, eh, Hedgie?
Yeah, a little bit of concern, a little bit of confusion. Seemed to be a lackluster hold towards that A site. But there was some positive moments there. We saw from Valde and Dyha over towards the B. They had a solid defense.
Yeah, I think this map is kind of the antithesis of what we've seen from ENCE in this tournament, where it's almost bizarre some of the rounds they're losing. It just feels like with the caliber of players they have, with some of the experience across, say, Valde and Snappy, we shouldn't be making these errors, but time and time again, this Outsider squad are putting them under so much pressure. That's the most aggressive T-side I might have ever seen James call. He put the comms under as much pressure as possible, and they faltered, and that won them the game.
And it seemed to be, I mean, at least from our view, clearly an adjustment coming through from the Outsiders. The pace, it was so quick. They really mounted the pressure. We didn't see any of those slow, patient Outsiders rounds. But here's the thing. You don't just have to take our word for it, because I know there's fans in the arenas right now who are so very excited by this match. And we got Banks standing by to check in with them. Let's give it a whirl.
I found myself inside the Outsiders camp right now. Very happy after this opening game. I got my man here representing with the Kazakhstan flag as well. And you've been telling me, right? You've been a fan of this team since the Avangard days, right? Why do you like this team so much?
Sorry, what did you ask?
Why do you like this team so much? Why do you support these guys?
I support them, like you said, from the days they were Avangard, and I just like watching it. Like I first started, I saw Avangard at the major, like the Berlin one, when they went to the final. And that was a real great experience to watch.
And what do you think of the game they just played there, right? That was a nice, easy first map for them.
I thought it would be harder.
So you think they're going to get this 2-0 now, or are we going to get a full final?
We will see.
We will see. Crowd, what do we want? Do we want a 2-0? Or do we want all 3 maps? Oh, they think it's 2-0. Mike, take it back, my brother.
Much like Outsiders, the fans in the arena giving nothing away. Doesn't know if it's going to be a 2-0. All he knows is he's there to cheer Outsiders on, and it's fantastic to see them finding some fans there in Rotterdam. Hey, Alan.
Yeah, especially you feel like ENCE would be hands down the crowd favorite in this sort of matchup, but Outsiders, they're winning us over on the desk, they're winning people over in the stadium, and it's pretty fun to see people cheering James on, all that.
It is indeed, and I mean, this scoreboard tells the story. I want to talk about my boy Fam. I've been excited by his play throughout this tournament, and he delivered again, particularly as that B-site sentinel, Hedgie.
Yeah, if anyone deserves to have more fame, it's certainly him. More fame brings, of course, more fans in the in the arena, and I think he was. If Maiden and Valde showed how it was done, Fame just one up them.
He absolutely did. He did an incredible job of it. But let's talk about some of the distressing things we saw from ENCE. We've talked about them being a bit of a Jekyll and a bit of a Hyde, and we got more of the Hyde here, shall we say. Alan, there's one round you wanted to highlight that pointed out some of the issues.
Yeah, as mentioned, we've talked a little bit about where maybe some of these issues in terms of communication is coming from in ENCE. And I thought we'd just look at this round because it perplexes me a little bit. So let's jump into the drawing board and have a look what happens. So, got plenty of players in mid here from Outsiders. 4 on 5 for them. And what Dyha's going to do here is check mid. He's going to say, guys, I don't see anything around here. It's all good in the hood. The confusing part is they know players can be up cap. They're 5 on 4. There's no reason to take any risks here. But Zunpius comes in, peaks mid. And even more bizarrely, Dyha is now going to swap with Zunpius and go towards A. And it's all really bizarre because if they really wanted to do this and flip players around in mid and fight into that area, Snappy needs to use his smoke to block short, and he doesn't. and he just gets absolutely swarmed by all these players. He goes down. Diha's way out of there. Sampai's on the other side of the map. Madden is pushed all the way out long. He can't help his teammate. And this just around it, so disjointed from ENCE. And such a small mistake blossoms into a round loss. So we saw this too many times on Dust 2. Maybe it's a map-specific thing where they just don't have the communication yet. But it's just a clear-cut case of, you know, why are ENCE making these sort of decisions when we know they have the experience to know better? It's just a little bit confusing.
See, I think the most confusing thing about that is there was still a minute on the clock, and Outsiders were going towards the site.
That's a great, excellent point. We saw them on Xbox taking catwalk control at 1 minute 30. We've never seen an Outsiders match on Dust 2 where they've had this sort of speed.
No, we really haven't. I mean, this was the paciest play I think I've ever seen from this team. I'm curious to see if it's going to continue. We're starting to get into the conversation of map number 2. It's Vertigo, which is an odd choice coming through from ENCE based on what we've seen in this tournament so far. How do you think it's going to play out, Hedgie?
I think they had a bit of a shaky map on Vertigo against Eternal Fire, so I was a little shook that they opted to actually veto and pick that map. Outsiders, on the other hand, with 100% win rate on it, this is a strong map for Outsiders, so a little peculiar. I think perhaps they've seen some sort of tendencies, or they're just confident in what they can do on the map and thinks that they are still having the upper hand on it.
Alan, should we have hope for ENCE here, or are things going to be not so easy?
It's just perplexing how we ended up here on Vertigo in the first place. It's also a case that they had, you know, an hour. They had an hour to get ready for this game, so any thoughts they might have been hard preparing. Maybe support staff could have helped, but it's just difficult to see why they went for Vertigo. Maybe they did see something in Outsiders' game that they think they can exploit. So they've got all the questions at them. Valde is the player to watch because this is going to be his 6th ever game of Vertigo, and he's playing for elimination in the grand final. So, you know, if he's going to be a star player for this team, if he's going to actually take them to titles in the future, he's got to get it done right now.
Well, I mean, we're talking about Valde over on the ENCE side, but for my money, it's all about the Outsiders. Fame, he's been incredible. Is he going to be the key here, or is there someone else you're looking for, Hedgie?
Yeah, he could, might as well be the key player. I think him and James on Vertigo is absolutely phenomenal. But if there's one player who really needs to step up his game now, if ENCE is going to have any sort of chance, it's Sampaias. He is a very versatile on Vertigo. He likes to go for those early crane peaks, mid peaks. He can be all over the place. And if they are going to bring this to a third map, he certainly needs to step up.
Well, it's going to be Fame and James, whose aim will be to take home the crown here. They'll be looking to close things out on Vertigo. We'll see if ENCE can thwart their plans. It'll be James and Yuumi again after this break.
ESL Challenger is brought to you in part by Intel, Asus, Republic of Gamers, DHL, Monster Energy, and 1xBet.
Back once again in Rotterdam for our second map of the grand final. Outsiders chose Dust 2 and they won it convincingly, no less. And now we move to the dizzying heights of Vertigo, a map chosen, of course, by Ent. But what do the statistics tell us?
Well, I mean, it's not really just all about the statistics. It's unfortunately, we've seen them play this today against Eternal Fire, and they didn't do well. They even said in the post-game interview that there were crucial rounds that they maybe could have won out on Vertigo to make it 2-0 over Eternal Fire, but they were tested and they were put in their place. This is a peculiar pick, but like they were saying on the desk, they must have seen something to warrant this pick, and so they have to prove it in the server. They're a map down in the series. Outsiders trouncing them on Dust 2, and we'll have to see what Ents got up to in the prep time on their T side.
Getting trounced in the pistol rounds as well. We'll see if they can make a difference on this occasion. So many have been offered, so many have failed, but maybe now is time to break the curse, if you will. Valde trying to close that distance, and he will be able to get the first kill. Down goes James. We can see that full rotation coming through from the CT's patient shot to the Glock, and are they going to win this pistol round?
It's certainly a possibility. It's looking likely. Valde getting these 2 kills has given them so much room, but they can't sit on their laurels too quick. Flit finding 1 and bringing it back to a 3-on-4, and they've got a kit, so they have time.
There's a flash for both sides. Ents really, just for their own confidence, must win a pistol round. Dihar will make it even harder for Outsiders now as Flit and Norbert remain. Flashbangs being deployed, but Flit is in a 1 versus 4, and they've done it. They've broken the curse. The man with the greatest hand in esports, Valde, with the opening frags, and Ents can convert afterwards.
I can't quite believe it, but it's a nice and quick play there from Ents, and they don't let that retake get out of hand. They've been playing this tournament on hard mode with how many times they lose pistols, but maybe things can go a little smoother now that they got one under their belt. Guns out, and no fun for Outsiders in the second round. They save, and they look forward to a round 3 bye.
James has a pop flash. Well, he has a flashbang, which I would imagine he will use in a pop flash fashion. But will the timing favor Outsiders? They'll do what they can, but the MAC-10 will get some bonus money. Oh! That's quite something there. Always nice to get a quick knife round in a round which isn't a knife round. That just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a lovely cash injection. I got a little spun out as well with where he was positioned. I mean, he got a MAC-10. He was running back towards looked like maybe a teammate. If you weren't paying too close attention, you would have thought.
Fancied himself a slice.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps this bodes well for Ents. They will be expecting to have a strong CT side, and they started the T side off well. But now the buy comes through for Outsiders. Of course, they bought only a flashbang in that round prior, and now James on their first buy round has the AWP.
Always lovely. Extra $1,500 makes a bigger difference, and Norbert, nice off angle. Valde wasn't quite prepared for it, and they can't get the trade. Snappy, try as you might. We'll have to call from the sidelines now. Ents down 2.
Hard mode appears very quickly indeed. DL will look to take some angles away, some strong angles away with the Molotov. That's a chunky grenade onto Fame as well. Reading the reposition, punishing the reposition. That shot from Dihar. He's got all the smarts for the B-bomb site, but more needs to be done. Close, but not quite. Off the side he goes. That leaves some Pius and Mudden. The last 2 for Ents. Needs to get 1 more bullet at least. Very dicey, but Ents are staying in this.
Yeah, small bumps, and those are signs of life, but Martin being dropped does, I think, call it quits here for some Pius. Low HP, I mean, the bomb on the other side of the map. Has to try and do something with this AK, but the best he might be able to do is save. There can be something brought forward into the next round here for Ents. This is usually the Outsiders' game plan.
Goes past the unusable Portapuis.
Yep.
Hashtag buff the Portapuis.
No one ever uses them.
Kill the engaged sign. Doesn't need to be there. Helping no one.
Great stuff on that B-bomb site, though. The double kills from Flit and Norbert shut it down. They've got numbers in their name, and they get numbers in this round. Outsiders, they're first as soon as they get their hands on weapons. And now how do ENCE approach this one? They didn't exactly have the most amount of money. They get a little bit extra into their pockets coming away from that first gun round. And how are they going to play around this Sun Pius AK is going to be a big question. Maybe they even give the responsibilities over to someone else. We talked about how Martin and Diha have been pretty devastating as a 1-2 punch on the T sides here for ENCE. So very likely that one of them sees priority.
You can see the discussion. Everybody looks focused. Still early here on Vertigo.
I believe this was an Outsiders timeout instead, but
it was, yeah.
ENCE will happily take that extra time. And yeah, they do decide to buy around the AK. Sun Pius will actually still wield it, so putting some trust in the AWPer to hit hard.
Let's see what they choose to offer then. ENCE. Some forward grenades on the ramp to limit what the CTs can do, but you still have to have some risk to try and find an entry, and there is Martin delivering on a promise he might have made to his teammates. He gets traded, but he has created some space, and Pius now looks to follow up. He will be denied by the likes of Flit. They have weakened this push from ENCE. These rifles can be rescued, though. But now there are only 3 of them. I say only. There are 4 Outsiders players. If they could avoid a trade frag, then things could get very interesting indeed. But they need to find another kill on this bomb site.
James can't quite cover the angle in time, and actually caught Norbert off guard, but able to adjust, and Valde dropped. He lost the in the meantime as well, so Snappy's all that's left. A 1-on-4, and they are all over him. Behind, there is no sanctuary, and Flit will even go to chase him down. Wanted that 3rd extra kill in this round, but Snappy's hopes are doomed. A tying round from Outsiders, rather Snappy.
Secure rounds. Not taking too much damage. And you can really feel how tense this game of Vertigo is. Again, one team playing for the championship, playing for the trophy in the middle of the stage. The other team being ENCE, playing to take it to a 3rd map. And we're so early in this game of Vertigo, but it already feels like we've been here a while. 2-2, and ENCE will be on the pistols. And hey, you can use this as a timeout as well. This is time to discuss. There's only so much you can expect to do in a round such as this. Nice work from Snappy, but he won't be able to find a kill. Combination of the MP9 and the shrapnel from the grenade will be enough to send him packing in round number 5.
Yeah, surprising amount of damage to have done so quickly, but yeah, Kicker getting that AWP out of James' hands. Even he's not so greedy, and he knows that they're on pistols. He loves farming up extra cash. Flit instead fights with the A1S, and that means that rifle can be retrieved because James can't cover it.
Jay must understand how urgent this position is if he's going to give the AWP to a teammate. Can't land the smoke properly, though, but they can land the frags, and that will be key. Again, not much for ENCE to offer in the first place. I think 1 kill, you can be happy with that. Yeah. Just with these basic pistols that they have invested into. Not really much going on in that round, so that's a pretty reasonable result for them.
And pretty close to getting even more kills than that. We saw how low a couple of the Outsiders survivors ended up being, so might not have been what they were entirely going for, but at least they threaten ENCE on a low buy like that. Get the warning shots in, or sorry, they threaten the Outsiders nice and early like that. They get the warning shots in nice and early. ENCE do have a full buy, and they've got Sun Pius on the AWP. We'll see if they can actually get engaged with it as well. They lost a lot of players in the earlier gun round. We had Norbert with the fantastic positioning in mid to get a double kill. They don't want to start in at a deficit so early into such an important round as well.
We've seen a lot of kills from the angle that Sun Pius is holding in this round. We could see how quickly James disengaged from that position. Wasn't even looking all the way down the ramp, but just to the side. And he will find Snappy elsewhere as Modern tries to make up for it. James just dancing now, jiggling, poking. Modern will have to fall back and see if he can find something else elsewhere. Showing some presence, making some steps, but the rest of the team maybe trying to achieve something else. Are Outsiders being baited? Even if they are, they have a man advantage.
Yeah, they tried building the boost again there, and it does feel a little desperate after the first time didn't work out. A lot of warning shots, and Fame can reinsert himself after being spotted rotating. Outsiders have 2 in position, and they have a fast rotate available as well with Flit. So if Ents decide to NB like they're postured up to be, they're in for a world of hurt. Norbert starting off the affair, and Flit is there as well from the window. Fame can activate all 3 players having contributions here for the Outsiders defense, and some Pius is left alone again. First shot on that AWP will land, but there's more numbers, and a nade will finish the job. It will be a 4th for Outsiders.
These holds are starting to feel a bit strong for Outsiders at the moment, but every round is data for Ents to think about. Of course, that data will change. They won't repeat the setups. They won't be too common for the CT team. Lots for Ents to solve, though. Lots of problems being served to them by the likes of Outsiders, and of course, Jame is firing. Maybe Outsiders have been growing with strength from this tournament up to this point, peaking in the finals, perhaps. The first map would certainly suggest that, but now they're playing their opponent's pick. Just as important to deliver there as well.
Always wonder as well whether the Outsiders get a little intimidated when there's a crowd in front of them to a certain degree. They were pretty proficient. I mean, they've played at majors, right? But it's not the lineup of old, you know, Kicker and Jame, the ones that have stuck around the longest. There've been a lot of moving pieces. But now to have a full house in front of them, maybe that's energized them.
Maybe it has. We've seen the support they have here as well.
Crowd didn't know whether it was going to be 2-0 or all 3. In fact, I think the cheers got weaker when they said all 3.
Safety in numbers for Ents. This is a shooting gallery, and Flit will be the first one to start serving them all the things they're not looking for. 3 kills. Valde and St. Pius remain. A bomb plant still possible. Probable no. St. Pius is alone now with the P250. Much work to do.
And can do nothing. It's the 2 Fs of Outsiders that make it so you have to pay Fs for respects for the Ents round. I mean, that's a half buy that they accomplished nothing with. The lower investment they had previously did more damage than this. And Flit was just confident to take every single one of these duels. He knew that they were stuck on the floor. They couldn't escape through the B-side window. And even if they tried, he would have probably got them too.
5-2 for Outsiders. Ents back on the bye after a nothing round with the pistols. They know that Jame is lurking somewhere, but they still need to press forward. Lots of flashes on the ramp now. Pius' angles will be taken away. Looking for the warbangs, but we're not seeing those aggressive positions that Ents might take when they move to the CT side. We know they like to be very aggressive down the ramp, but Outsiders are content for the time being. Maybe they'll change gears later on, but for now, indeed, they have been looking strong. Fame a little further forward as this fast round comes in from Ents, so they find themselves their entry, but there's more plays to deal with here as they're bunching up. Norbert finds one.
So close to the action as well, and around that smoke, Valde will try and find more, but Madden burns to the flames. Just on the small embers of it because it was expiring soon, and Flit's got another. It's now Valde that has to be the instrument for this round if Ents want any success, lest they be singing songs of better days. Valde dropped just as easily, and Flit is finally dealt with, but it's again, we've seen some Pius in so many 1vx's, and he hasn't been able to find too much success. Outsiders playing it slow.
It's going to be real hard for him to isolate fights as that smoke gets redeployed. Committing to the bomb plant here, not going to get baited off it. Norbert's reload will give his position away. Shotgun mode for St. Pius. He sees a leg. Oh, we've got a 360 MLG no scope. Down he goes as well. Crazy stuff, but he was left in a bad situation. An entry frag, a 5 versus 4 turned into a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, and he knew that they were clustered up together as well. So as soon as he cleared the generator, just immediately realizing that, oh, they must all be going through this smoke. So the read was great, but couldn't quite hit the flick. After the hard work of getting the entry, they just couldn't get much more afterwards. There are these small mistakes that creep in. I mean, Madden burning to the flames as well just limited the bodies on the bomb site, and it meant that they couldn't get that bomb down as well.
That was wild to watch, but you could see that first player just trying to bring the reticle away, create that space, Worst case scenario, trade frag secured around. That is the priority. Didn't cost them as much as it could have. And Outsiders secure another round. 4-round lead now over the 2 rounds of Ents, who at this point, if they plant the bomb, at least they can buy again. But as we saw on an earlier map of Mirage, they've got to convert these rounds. The bomb plant won't be enough.
It's also just scary that the only 2 rounds they found so far were the pistol and the conversion.
Yep.
How on earth do you find this? May have broken the curse of winning pistol rounds, but now you want your gun rounds to find success. The Outsiders' defense on Dust 2 was impenetrable, it felt.
What can they do different? They found the entry on B, and then almost nothing else until it was clutch time. Like, you created an advantage for yourself, but how do you capitalize on that versus the likes of Outsiders? Minute 20, as there is a focus on the ramp. You can see James creeping. Changing his position. Unless he's scoped above them, they might not know exactly where he is. Now looking at the util, there are smokes here for Ents. They may look to cut the site in half and plant the bomb later. And if that is the case, there are 2 smokes for Outsiders as well.
Flitz really playing around with the one-way and hoping that he might find some semblance of information, but nobody moves there for Ents.
They had 4, almost 5 players on the A bomb site, Outsiders. And I wonder if there's a tell, something Ents aren't doing, which is giving the game away there.
They're leaving, though. It's just Kickered at the sandbags, and one site player. There's going to be James as well on short, but they get back in here in time, and they don't clear the sandbags, so Kickered gets freebies. That's the bomb dropped on the ramp, 27 seconds, and the closest person that could have retrieved it has also been dealt with. They've now found Snappy, and Valde is just all alone. We've seen so many 1v3s, 1v4s, but we haven't had it on a rifle. Valde trimming the fat a little with 1 more kill, but he's calling it. It's another Outsider success. It actually looked like Ents had the read there. They had some tells on how Outsiders were going to play around on A. Like you said, there were 4 players in position to deal with a hit, and when Ents decided to move forward, they started to vacate, but they still couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, and maybe it's the lack of presence which gave them that opportunity, Ents. But then again, not clearing the sandbags on this occasion proved extremely painful. And perhaps that was a gamble they were making. Throw the molly, wait to see if somebody's there, maybe the rotation comes through, etc. We'll focus on the bomb site, hope no one's there.
Yeah.
But Kikert is there, down go 2 of them. Another round in the bag for the Outsiders. And things look very dire for Ents in round 10. A hero rifle, a bunch of pistols. He looked very dire in the half altogether. As we said, the pistol round was worth 2. They finally win the pistol round and they basically win nothing afterwards.
There's always something, isn't there?
One way or another, it will have to be done the hard way for Ents today.
1 rifle and 4 pistols, so they're at least giving themselves some chances at these long-range fights, but that rifle in Valde's hands, he has been joining them for quite a few of the engagements, not sending himself out on too many lurk adventures. Outsiders, once again, don't challenge the ramp too heavy. I think as well, earlier, Ents were able to capitalize on the Outsiders on lower buys, going more aggressive. So I think Outsiders understand that there is specifics about the way they take A that Ents have information on. Look at the front of the bomb site and Molotov in as well. This is looking fairly clean here for Ents because Outsiders didn't have the presence on A.
Bomb getting planted now around the 35-second mark, and the retake smokes are here. They'll need some kills first, though. And there's the opening frag after the bomb is planted in favor of Ents, but they don't really have the firepower to contest Outsiders in the way they want to. 4v2 for the retake as these smokes start to get deployed now. 1 more for Norbert to throw. Everybody's got a kit as well. Will they need some body blocking to defuse this bomb? They're still looking for frags elevated over that smoke. You can see that AWP raining out. No one's on that bomb just yet, though, and Valde is still alive. Norbert starting to defuse now. Fame trying to find Valde. He's taken down the diffuser. James won't have time, I don't believe, to get this. It's going to be close. It's going to be real close. Is he going to make it? No! There's a round for Ents, and the crowd are super happy with that.
Oh my goodness, James as well. I think he had time if he knew exactly where it was planted, but he had to turn very quickly. And even then, it comes to the slimmest of margins. Those aren't confident rounds for ENCE, but they didn't go in with an absolute full buy. Even when they had the single rifle to play off of, they're able to find some kind of success. That was a Hail Mary, though. That headshot through the smoke changed everything.
Maybe this is the round that they needed. Another look at the proceedings here as Norbert does well on this retake. Again, all these frags coming after the bomb was planted, but James sees his fate before him. Light flashing through his eyes, all AWPs, of course. And now we go to round 11. ENCE won't have the pistols this time, they'll have the rifles. I'm sure there's something on the floor for Snappy to collect. Indeed, there is a 5th AK-47 for the squad. The last round is not something they can really repeat in terms of success in this half, but maybe there's an epiphany to be had. Maybe they'll find a way.
And it pushes Outsiders a little closer to that edge to have their money broken as well. So whatever success they can find would be great, but...
Diha's just been popped already towards the B-bomb site.
Yeah, and Sampaios was right behind him. He was supposed to be the trading player, but he didn't want to chase down because that could have just been 2 deaths instead.
Success didn't last long. Outsiders are on point. A great game of Dust 2, and they come in sharp on Vertigo. Big flash for Mine, and somehow Kicker completely avoids it. 5 versus 3. What answer do ENCE have to these kills?
Seen them in spots like this before, and they haven't been able to claw the numbers back. The execution they did last round over will be the same. Look at the front of the side, the Molotov that's down, but they don't quite burn them out of position. There's 4 bodies, and they are all warm here on the Outsiders. They are ready to pounce right in. The molly on the default boxes will do nothing to stop Valde from getting that plant down. Sampaios standing his ground, but Valde's there to trade. And having just a 1-for-1 like that, ENCE don't have the numbers to sustain that. Low HP on a number of players, and Kickert's dealt with on the flank. That's a critical kill for Snappy. He's trying to set up Valde to have some kind of success, but no one's seen on the swing. And it's all about whether or not they can find these heads. Snappy's so quick with it. Off-axis plant, so it's a little awkward to try and find the lineup, and if they do, that would be great, but they're sticking the defuse, and Snappy has to land it, but he can't. It's a stolen round this time, no miraculous headshot through smoke.
That's the problem with the not default plan. Wasn't quite sure where he should be spraying. CT could be on either side or on top. Doesn't find the angle. And Outsiders will steal the round. Great support, elevated over that smoke. You can see Valde baiting, showing a bit of shoulder, finding out where the CTs are. But eventually they had that superior position and the important frag as well. They pull away once more from ENCE, who are getting closer on this bomb site. But again, those conversions do elude them on occasion. Yeah, they can still get 7 rounds from this half if they can just cross that bridge.
And that's the thing, Outsiders have a lot of very good early setups. They have utility available as well for these retakes. When you were looking at ENCE perspectives, it looks like chaos. There's kills coming left and right. There's all this util that's sailing towards them. It is a brawl for ENCE to win any single round. Outsiders look pretty calm about the whole thing, to be quite honest, but in all of these rounds as well, where they're losing numbers, again, it does prop them up for some kind of hardship ahead, but that's only if ENCE start taking these rounds.
Early B has been a problem, but again, Outsiders changed their configuration. There will be no gun engagement. They replaced that with meaty grenades. They're very aware of what they're leaving open, but will they be able to deal with this situation? Fame will play off of his teammate, and again, there's the opening frag for Outsiders, but Flip's been dropped now, as has Fame, and Norbert's not far behind. James trying to keep his team in this one, but he's the only man, and you know where he's going. A 4th round likely for ENCE at this point. They've got the bomb on the site. James is done with this one.
This is one of those rounds as well where, as much as it might hurt your own economy to chase James down, you want to make sure every round is as expensive as possible. This half has already been lost in terms of the sheer numbers game. 8 already secured for the Outsiders, but if ENCE want hope in future rounds, limiting the efficiency of James' economy will be key. Even sending more bodies after this might be a mistake, and I think ENCE realized that they can't hunt too proficiently. Sampaios will sideline that James AWP, but there should be still some gas in the tank for an Outsiders buy.
The 4th round for ENCE. They're edging closer to these rounds, and Netting another one. 3 more to go. Big frags. D-Hart very dependable on the entries and the multi-frags. A flurry of kills around the map. Now we'll have a look at the outsiders. They've been able to get another AWP for Jane. Some shortcomings for the likes of Norbert and the FAMAS onto Kicker, but those can be used in the right way and be very dangerous indeed. Not too terrible in that respect.
This is the round that secures a comeback if ENCE are going to allow to be doing exactly that. And so Snappy finding the opening kill will at least make things a little easier. Outsiders are somewhat stuck. They've got bodies on this bomb site, but taking a lot of damage for these duels and getting away with it. Norbert as well. The spam is right on the queue, so Outsiders a man advantage.
Yeah, things turn around quickly. Outsiders playing together, huddled together. They know B has been left open and they're heading in that direction, but can they get there fast enough? Do they have enough? Fame on 10 HP, life may be difficult for him. His job may be cannon fodder. You can see him jumping into the site. It is exactly that. Look how he swings to the side, trying to open opportunity for his teammates, and they will deliver for him. They'll make it worthwhile. St. Pius again in the clutch on the B bomb site. Such a hard spot for him. No plant just yet. He's got to find the frags.
Oh, they built this boost so quick as well. I don't know if St. Pius could consider it, but he's not taking the long approach, instead playing close. Sound cues, they're starting to think he might have evaded them and actually gone back to the A bomb site, but St. Pius is still trailing forward and trying to find an advantage, but they had a crossfire built. Really good reaction there from Outsiders, gave a lot of respect, but I mean, we haven't seen any of these 1vx's work out really for ENCE.
Love the urgency from Outsiders, the spatial awareness, moving towards B together. The wild swing from 10 HP Fame is exactly what he needs to do. Just run as wide as possible, force the crosshair away, create space for your teammates to trade the frag, and then control the bomb site. Beautiful work from him. 3 rifles, 2 pistols for ENCE. 6 is the best that they can hope for in this round, in this half now rather. Snappy taking some damage early. Maybe he's forced Outsiders a little further back as far as the ramp is concerned. So the risk may just pay off for them.
It was a bit of a gamble to pick into Vertigo, and the people that were doing the best were Diha and Madden, so to have them not firing on all cylinders may be something that comes back to haunt them, but execute on A here for ENCE, and they have done so with minimal resistance. Kicker was holding for that exact play for St. Pius. He didn't have to adjust his crosshair at all, and planting the bomb safely isn't really looking likely.
He's seen that story before. Kicker, the Molotov spreads just in time to finish off Snappy. Now all the smokes have gone, and ENCE starting to disappear as well. Outsiders, 5 versus 1. Valde in the clutch, he'll tease Jame, but he's instantly traded by Flip. Tease the robbery of the AWP, but it will be collected. It will be collected.
ENCE must be feeling burned. Pistol, second round, and then it's a round every so often, but only as much as they can find these fast and sharp entries, which has been too infrequent. They are stuck at 4. Outsiders already up to double digits before this half is concluded, and we'll see if they can build upon that lead even further. Look at the money in the buy here for ENCE. Unideal. Galil and a bunch of pistols. Last time they at least had an AK to maybe work off of, but have to hit the dink and a quick follow-up if Diha wants to find a quick one. Feel like they've tried a few different approaches. Talked about the Molotov disrupting some nade lineups, and Outsiders throw it. Oh man, Diha's already gone, but the Galil at least can make its way into new hands.
Grenades being lined up now. And Norbert and Fame will line up the headshots as best they can. St. Pius and Snappy remain. 2 versus 5 with Tech 9s. It is going to be a hard task to even get up those stairs, and they will be denied. ENCE are capable of a strong CT half, but are 4 T rounds enough for them to mount the comeback? Find that after the break.
Seriously? Now there's a hole in your defense. Look at the size of that gap. Is that a goat?
You talking about me?
I think this goat is saying gap.
Must be talking about the expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
So who's talking about the money Aflac pays to help close that gap?
Aflac, gap, Aflac, gap.
It's about to go down, baby.
Help that goat.
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover at Aflac.com.
Get more MPGs with Honda. Honda is the most fuel-efficient automaker in America. That means you save at the pump with up to 40 miles per gallon. Search your local Honda dealer today.
A new evil is rising.
We're out of time.
Our light is fading. What are we to do?
The only thing we can do. Stand and fight.
The Rings of Power, now streaming. Only on Prime Video.
The new iPhone 14 Pro, it's amazing.
And you'll get our best deal.
Nice. But everyone should get it.
Everyone can get it.
Every new customer.
Every existing customer.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Okay. My work here is done.
Learn and earn today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable, high-tech, and in-demand programs, including data analytics, fashion, teaching, animation, and game design. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
Get back here, you meathead!
Oh, I like it. It's abstract.
Four rounds on the T side, shut down by outsiders. ENCE now need to build, and boy, do they have a lot to build on this CT side. They finally won a pistol, and they could really do with another one, but maybe these pistols are a curse for them. A lot of games haven't been done the easy way for ENCE today in the series they had earlier. In the series they're having now, they really need to start this one on the right foot.
Entering map 2, we were hoping they could dust their shoulders off, but I'm getting too many signs that dust repeats instead. Outsiders, that defense was impeccable, but they are taking it nice and slow here on the T-side pistol. If ENCE had any gimmicks, any out-of-the-box calls, they would have likely reset by now, but they're still holding round to see if outsiders make contact in at ramp.
Some flying T's down the ramp, Valde will say. Not going to fall back, though. He is ready for the pops with the USB. He's got a teammate for help as well, but St. Pius and Snappy now have been dropped. Advantage outsiders. They've only lost one player. Valde still around A, though, cutting noise, slinking away. As outsiders will consider their next step. It's gone from the ramp to the side. He is being looked for, though, by KitKat. He's got a better angle, and he will find a kill as well. Trade by Nor, but he has the superior angle. Advantage outsiders again.
Want to see if Dihad performs the same maneuver or not. Getting one might be enough to at least dissuade outsiders, but they're running out of time. 30 seconds. They will have to eventually end up on the site and get that bomb planted, and they can afford no mistakes with that package. Fame going alone at first, but Jame will be there to join him and try and trade, but Fame doesn't even need his backup. Outsiders have broken into a 3-on-1, and Madden's not had the sharpest of games. If there was ever a moment to try and pull something off and have a high impact round, now would be it. Madden's got the first, and running through those flames Flame's trying to catch them, repositioning. Low HP player on that low ground, and Fame is just toying with him, allowing James to hold him on the high, and Fame will instead deliver. They looked like they were in good position to win that pistol as well, but this time ENCE cannot bring another one forward.
Baited to the point of no return. Very, very painful existence for ENCE in this grand final. Outsiders really been waiting for this grand final to peak, haven't they? Looking real good right now. But what will they be facing in the next round? Doesn't look like it'll be a lot, as it's a clean eco. Literally nothing bought by ENCE. They give no sound cues away. Cutting noise from spawn, apparently. Now, what kind of plan will they have in mind? What is the most they can expect to do here? Use the numbers, rushing like monkeys, trying to cause as much chaos as possible, but there's only so much you can do when all you have is USPs. Dihar is left alone to essentially run to his own demise. They can think about the next round and forget about this one. He rings the bell multiple times, a wallbang with the USP no less. 5 points to USERP, but another round in the bag for Outsiders. 3 rounds away now from $50,000.
How do ENCE pull it off? So many rounds to claw back so quick, and to have such a confident looking Outsiders. They go with faster pace this entire series. We still had a lot of slow rounds, but by Outsider standards, we've seen a lot of quick ones. And I love this. You get yourself into advantages and you think about what your opponents are going to do. You even throw the idea out that you might be going for something slightly off book or something slightly different. These are all things that ENCE are going to have to consider, and this is a crucial gun round. If they lose this, their next best buy would be Outsiders at 15, and it would be a steeper ladder to climb.
Rough spot for ENCE. Need to force their way out of the darkness on Vertigo into the light, in the right way, of course. And for A1Ss across the board. Too early for the sniper rifles. Looking for their first hints of success in the second half. Dihar always ready to frag, hyper aggressive, and ENCE like to be aggressive on their CT side. Wouldn't surprise me to see Snappy at the bottom of the ramp later on. Maybe wanting to secure their economy first. Very tight grenades indeed. Outsiders will have to wait out this initial aggression. Not much you can do when there's a smoke like that on the ramp.
So nervous about what ENCE are going to do with this, because like you said, getting aggressive could be a nice idea for them because of previous games, their comfort, but with Outsiders so close to the finish line, I don't think anybody wants to be the one at the front, the one that falls first. This is the worst part about playing the Outsiders. They let you fester and stew in all your previous mistakes and what could be for this next round as well, because Outsiders usually have a good read. Late Molotov and actually pressuring Snappy does so much damage but can't finish off a single kill.
Vintage Molly from above the ladder onto that short position. And all this time, yes, ENCE had aggression towards B, but it had to fall back from that eventually once the utility ran out, and they are limited in information, but they're getting all the information now. Problems arising on the A bomb site. Already a kill for Outsiders. They're really good at these 5v4s, looking to capitalize on that, but Valde will deny them with 2 frags. Traded eventually, but he might have done enough as Flip finds himself alone. 17 seconds, and he's had quite enough of this. These slow rounds, really nervous for the CT side as well. It's like almost playing a T side on train. You don't really know where they're going to go. Hard to put your team in the right position to defend.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the counter reactions that were there as well from ENCE. They tried to go for the boost. It didn't work out. So, I mean, that just adds more to the chaos. But they're able to collect in time. Great effort there from Valde to come up with a multi-frag. He's one of the few that was at double digits ahead of everybody else for ENCE. And we really want to see and focus on some Pius. He was mentioned on the desk as being high impact and needs to show that, but fast entry over towards B. They didn't come in with a premium buy. They had an AWP, an AK, and that AK is struck.
That's an important kill. That's exactly what they need. Jame with a tag through the box. He saw the cross and that was enough, blind or not. But Valde will take that price for position. He limits what Outsiders can do now. So many questions for Outsiders around the corner from that smoke. Are the CTs still there? Do they have two posted up? Will they be weak towards B, or will they be stacked towards B? That re-smoke will really kill some time now. Have a look at their position towards that B bomb site.
Oh, Madden, that's a big mistake. Try to go for a flank and another rifle is given over. I mean, you might have A ramp control, but if they just group themselves up and hit that B bomb site, there's a real possibility as well. But I think they know they got that tag on Valde, so they're expecting to go to a weaker side.
Oh my days!
How on earth does he get that so quick?
They had so much control. Now it feels like they've got absolutely none. Snappy needs a multi-frag. There's the first. They're bunching up for him. That's exactly what they needed to keep ENCE alive in this game. 1 versus 2. James avoids a grenade, down to 13 HP now. He can still make this painful. He can still win this round. Looking for the CTs, running out of time to plant this bomb. The smoke will be gone soon. It might have to be by elimination. Suggesting he's fallen away. Smoke forward, actually. He's just covering himself, but the USP will do the job. Too difficult towards the end. A huge frag, a huge flurry of frags on that ramp for ENCE. That's the only way they stay in this.
Yeah, Snappy, that's a fantastic time to step up. I mean, that looks like they were done. Out in the open, the man stands his ground, and that will shake the Outsiders just a little. They got away with a lot, and he makes up for some of the mistakes as well from the rookie Madden. Making up for lost time as well this round.
Such a marginal situation for ENCE, but it gives them so much opportunity. The money's broken for Outsiders. It won't be broken for too long, but maybe ENCE can just rest a little. Then again, maybe they can't. You can never be too careful versus this team. They've looked good in this grand final so far.
Let's keep our heads on here if you're ENCE. I mean, you have a monster round like that from your in-game leader. I think it could be very easy to feel the adrenaline alongside him, but yeah, can't underestimate these pistols, and hopefully that's the morale booster that ENCE needed. Oh, they do get the plant down on Outsiders though, so a nice little cash injection, but it's all about round wins. That's all ENCE are focused on.
These rounds are so dangerous. They keep ending up in 4 versus 5 situations that everything is difficult. Outsiders will give them no space. They'll have to take it by force, but everything comes at a risk in this game. Outsiders have been very punishing in this grand final, but ENCE are creeping up. They're creeping forward. They're getting closer to that score, but they will still feel very far away. The only AWP in this round is in the hands of St. Pius. We've seen him deliver before.
The desk was looking for aggro picks and the variety, the catalog that St. Pius can offer up. More passive approaches here to start. They do have a double setup in mid here for Outsiders. They had one built as well for ENCE, but they're actually transitioning. Small little hints perhaps about the B bomb site being compromised, but a lot of audio given up to the Outsiders as well that there could be a second man in. Valde almost getting caught on the cross. That flash was well timed, but they can't punish.
Yeah, that really compromises the hold. There's over a minute on the clock. That mid position will have a lot of presence. It's going to be really hard for ENCE to clear this, and if they do choose to clear that, that's going to cost them personnel elsewhere. We can see that Outsiders have a journey in mind, and they've got many grenades to do it with. We know what these smoke grenades mean. If they manage to plant this bomb on the A bomb site, have a look at ENCE's util. It is less than ideal. But what are the ultimate intentions here for Outsiders? Seems to constantly be in flux.
Yeah, the new information, new developments, hearing smokes as well around the map, and they divert themselves back over towards mid. Diha behind the sandbags, and they didn't expect him to be in there, so when he pops his head up, it's 3. So Outsiders leave their sole teammate and Kickert alive, and he wasn't a part of the party. And looking like they are securing an 8 here, and it's all Diha that does the damage. Valde will finish off business, but they now within 5.
Really important kills for Diha. Look at the definition of hammer drill and you'll see his face next to it. Very, very important performance in mid, and again, so dangerous for outsiders. They're always threatening to do something, a number of things, make the wrong mistake, and it could really cost you, but D-Heart is ready to deliver, dependent upon round after round. Pistols again for outsiders, especially around smoke grenades. These Tech-9s can be so threatening to the end side, but the gap, the deficit is reduced to 5.
Yeah, we saw Kicker as well, but really capitalize on a couple of those Tech-9 kills like you're mentioning. Maybe Ents want to play a little closer to the action, and if they do, they could be in for a world of hurt. They got so much distance. I'm surprised Norbert doesn't come away with that. Martin had to adjust late. 1 for 1, and Snappy really good on this angle, it appears. Fame didn't really stand a chance, and Snappy just keeps on hitting heads.
I really wonder how that mid position will develop in the buy rounds for outsiders, because even catching somebody off guard like that in a pistol round, that's information. If they feel like there's a weakness there, that is something they may look to exploit in a round later on. Ents on the cusp of double figures now, moving to 9 rounds, 4 players surviving. All important things. Now let's see if they can get to 10, or if outsiders will put the brakes on the train of Ents who are trying to recover on their CT side.
Yeah, they have to justify this map pick, and so having a strong defense will likely influence this entire game. There can be no cracks exploited, and whether or not you're right in your assumptions that that mid position could be a vulnerability still remains to be seen. Early start here from the outsiders. Game's already holding on the angle, and yeah, talked out of it, it looked like.
Talks him down on Vertigo. This is a fast-moving round from outsiders. Fast-moving indeed. St. Pius came off of his initial angle before he went for it and catches Jame elsewhere. There is a play to his right-hand side, though, and he could be caught himself. Kicker's going to peek eventually. Hold on a second. There's a free kill. 2 kills at the same time now. But Ents will fight back. Snappy with another multi-frag on the ramp. He refuses to lose.
Wow, the ultimate speed bump, and sometimes just sending outsiders sailing off the map, but it's not quite done yet. 2 players that remain here for Ents as Norbert pulls it down to just the remainder. Snappy is forced out of position by the Molotov, and he couldn't afford to take damage. Diha as well as trying to make up for that lost ground, but outsiders do not commit. They know they've still got more clock to manage.
Flick giving the sound cues, but Norbert is standing still, and he's the one carrying the bomb. Now, do Ents identify that they are being served some nonsense with those sound cues? Diha certainly wonders. 37 seconds and grenades will be deployed. Diha looking to post up now. Didn't see the bomb, but it is there. Is this smoke a bait? There's no sound cues behind it. They're walking, they're not running. There is a quick molly now as Norbert tries to do what he can. The combination, though, won't work out, and he gets both Diha and denies the bomb plant. Ents make it to 10.
Wow, a nade and a Molotov that were forcing him into that fight, and he still gets away with that duel? I can't quite believe it. They should punish that every time, and I think they know that. Diha pulling off miracles, but the consistency of Snappy on these fights as they come up A has been unbelievable itself.
That's such an awkward second frag to get while running backwards, trying to cancel, to get accurate shots. That is not easy to do, and Snappy, of course, does deliver. There's an early frag now in favor of Ents, and when that's happening, you know the tide is turning. Of course, outsiders are on the pistols once again, but they might not be for long because KitKat has nobody to answer him on the radio now. He'll try to do some damage if he can, but Ents are growing with strength. We expected a strong CT side, maybe looking hard with their score, but look at their score now.
They didn't have the bomb when they did this. 4 bodies, and Kicker doesn't go to retrieve it. It was all about doing damage to Ents and tailoring up a future round, but Ents have got their eyes on the prize here on the defense. An 11th. Outsiders, they might have felt good coming into this half. They might have felt good winning the pistol as well, but things going down very quickly. As soon as they got their hands on rifles, Ents have turned that ship around.
The body language of outsiders tells a story, and the round wins tell a story as well. This is almost a mirror of the first half. The T-side wins the pistol and the consecutive nothing doing after that. CT rounds, one after the other, this time in favor of Ents. They move within 2 rounds of their opponent now, and they're not getting the bomb plants either, outsiders. They will take a timeout to figure out how to stop the bleeding. but maybe it's a case of ENCE not allowing that to happen. Looking way more comfortable now. Flit still leading with 23 frags at present, but I feel like ENCE are catching up against them.
Are these signs of defeat when James concedes to buying an AK? He had about 5.5K in his pocket, but knows that armor is so critical. There's so many positions you can get spammed on this map, and the big issue has really been breaching bomb sites and then later holding them. And even if they've had to, or they've been threatened on the site, they have almost always had a response. It feels like Snappy gave a breath of fresh air for the rest of the squad because they're performing, but Fame has found the first head. Snappy gone, so Inspiration will have to lead to the sideline.
Kickert is waiting for perhaps the inevitable. The grenade will force Modern forward as well, trying to avoid the damage. He takes even more than he would have otherwise, but how could he know? 5 versus 3. Outsiders have found a way in round 25. 7 rounds in a row for ENCE. Outsiders managed 6 in their first half before the T's broke them. Now what do ENCE choose to do? Outsiders have cut noise. If you seek information, you will be punished, it looks like, with how many Outsiders players are here.
Yeah, the one player you would maybe hope to do so is Sun Pius's position, but with an AWP, that's almost a death sentence since Outsiders typically work in pairs. How long do they wait, and do they leave enough room for something to go wrong, because they have to deal with Valde first.
There's plenty of money for ENCE that can quickly disappear in consecutive rounds, and that's the difference between the M4 and the AK. Rings the bell, but it's not enough damage. 5 versus 2 now. I was going to ask the question, is it time to disengage? But he will not be allowed to. Flit adds 1 to the tally and makes it 24.
A soul snatcher. Sun Pius maybe hoping he can get a shot through. Whittle down those numbers, but Diaz going for something sneaky here. I mean, Outsiders getting up to 14 is obviously not ideal, but look how quick they're vacating the bomb site as well. If he finds the first kill nice and snappy, this could be good, but he will meet the exact same fate. Not a single loss from Outsiders on a successful round.
They don't need many, and that's the first one. 2 rounds away from victory. 3 rounds ahead of ENCE, but ENCE have the money for a buy. You could see Martin was essentially baited into peeking by that HE grenade, and Kicker was just waiting for him. Well, then maybe there's something to be learned from that one. 5 AKs again for the Outsiders. Full buy from ENCE. They really don't want to give up that first kill if they can avoid it. But on many occasions, they haven't been able to. Enjoying the luxury of the CT side now after the arduous task on the T side. Outsiders turn to enjoy that. Rare rounds won later on from ENCE on their first half. The same is true here for Outsiders.
That's not his job, apparently. James redropping the bomb in spawn, and they have spread themselves very thin here from Outsiders. Usually there's at least a trio grouped up together, but trying to make this mid take work. Snappy has found his kill, and that will come at no kind of trade. Information, player jump up and down, and Martin gets immediately domed, but it's head for head, and Sun Pius not looking the right direction. The B bomb site open for business, and ENCE can't afford an initiative battle at 15 rounds. If Outsiders get this, it might be Kurt and Snappy. His barrel spotted, so Fame makes sure he's dropped as well. Valde needs this weapon. The funds have run thin for ENCE.
That was the bomb. That was the late opportunity. That could have been quite interesting, but he was betrayed by the barrel of his gun, by the silencer on his gun. You could see Martin was trying to get out of that fight. He didn't want to die there. He didn't want to fight until one person was lost. Trying to fall back, was not allowed to, and the B-bomb site collapsed mere seconds afterwards. Outsiders moving to match point, to championship point here at ESL Rotterdam, ESL Challenger Rotterdam. $50,000 for first place, then Outsiders are moving to 1 round away.
Snappy got the opener, and every single Outsiders player got their kill. It is a team effort through and through. We have had our standouts, that is for sure. Flit has been exceptional, but Fame this whole tournament as well has been right there with him. Hell, excelling past him as well as a player that didn't have a lot of attention before he joined the Outsiders, but people will know his name. said they need more fame for fame, and fans will be exactly that because he has been so critical.
B-bomb site turned into a black hole. Everybody got deleted, never to be seen again. Well then, here we are. There is a quite reasonable buy here for ENCE. Boy, did they speed up. A team in Outsiders notorious for their slow rounds, but when they smell weakness, they can be lightning fast when it counts. 4 chances at victory here in normal time. In regulation, championship point as you see on the HUD. What can ENCE say about this?
Small things are going to be missing from the ENCE buy as well. Not full nade sets, not everybody having kits, so things will have to be recovered and they'll have to make do with what they've got. You don't want to be skimping on a round like this when it's championship point. Outsiders, can you bring us all the way? No one would have called a 2-0. I think the crowd were elated at the idea because Outsiders have played a different breed of Counter-Strike, a different tempo than they usually do, and it's been working so far. Snappy's usually the one to start off these rounds, and he might try and go for the same again. There was a lot of noise on ramp, but when he looks to actually investigate, there's no one there.
Such a dangerous angle for him. Look at all the presence shown by Outsiders, and they quietly slink away. Snappy going back to his old favorite, and he knows when to start speeding up. Flit is punished. Kickert is still here. Now, what do Outsiders do? Do they feel like they need to show more presence on the ramp, or do they just go into the B bomb site? Diha's still vulnerable here. St. Pius is very, very curious indeed. If he's confident in the right-hand side of his reticle, he can hold this angle and focus on the left. He will hard clear the close though, but that will concede his position. Still gets that second frag. There's the lurker taken down. They have the information. Surely it's B now.
Yeah, and they were setting up for a B-side hit, but Outsiders, are they calling it quits? They needed a second prong to their assault. They needed a distraction on A to feel confident in this call, and so I think they're allowing ENCE to get another round. Fame will act as bodyguard, but 30 seconds left and Outsiders, no real indicator that they're going to leave the spawn. This is done.
Yeah, you can see how important it is for Outsiders to have the threat of going to multiple places. Kickert picks up the slack once Split has been eliminated on the ramp, but once he goes down, it is very obvious where they're going. They can't really throw any more tricks in there. They don't have the personnel for it, so they'll cut their losses and hold on for another buy in the next round. We can see they've got the money for it as well.
Yeah, ENCE burning pretty much all their utility through that round, but it works to great effect. There was great enablement as well to get aggressive over at A. Even when those smokes faded, Snappy has taken rounds into his own hands before. It is strange to think that we've put so much faith in the in-game leader here for ENCE to find openers for the squad. But when they need him most, he knows what to do. Outsiders, fast approach to at least go for the B-side contact, and ENCE aren't there. They're playing further back and more contained. Their priorities over at A have certainly been recognized. So if they decided to pounce on B, I mean, there would be a timing, but how would they identify this? They've been really instilling a lot of resources on ENCE. See these 3 players hovering around. You cannot afford to lose your B-side anchor at any point in this area. So you can see Diha is not going to push further than he needs to.
Very familiar with how aggressive Diha can be towards B Outsiders. And again, they will show presence here and there, but they will wait out the smokes on the ramp. Now, what will their plan be? They're waiting for a peak to come. They're waiting for the CTs to seek information and maybe a 5 versus 4. We can see them edging forward, but look how patient Outsiders are being. There's 45 seconds on the clock and they're still waiting for the CTs to peek them.
Peeking all right. Don't know if Sunpies is going to be really that aware of the idea that he can be shot from below, but he's going to have to make a quick adjustment. Oh, there's Snappy once again finding and springing into the action. There's 30 seconds left. Outsiders need to make their move now.
Steps ahead. He sees the boost as well. The frags go the way of ENCE. 3 rounds behind, trying to make it 2. And this looks like another one to be secured. Fliss and Jame need to hold what they have. Really playing the patience game, but ENCE know they can't go too far. Make one mistake and Outsiders will be all over you, waiting for those peaks, waiting for ENCE to seek information to try and stack the correct site. They don't engage, and they find themselves at 13 rounds.
You think about the faster tempo that Outsiders have used for a lot of this game. Now they go back to their old book. They're waiting at crucial moments in the round, and ENCE are ready and prepared to fight at those times. You see the smoke that's really deployed on ramp just allows Snappy to linger longer than he usually would, and with Sampayas and Diha activating on B as well, things are looking up for ENCE, but it feels like Outsiders were pushed out of their comfort zone before and have fallen back on old habits.
Fame looking for something a little early, trying to speed things up. You can see presence shown on both sides. Outsiders going fishing. See James trying to take the angles away, just in case somebody's waiting for him with an AWP or otherwise. All right then, Outsiders have established presence on ramp, presence on the stairs. They're in a position to deny much information for ENCE as to what their intentions are. Got to wait out this utility from ENCE. We can see Snappy jiggling. You never know, Snappy's going to go down the ramp behind that smoke grenade. Or be further up. Outsiders not really offering much in terms of sound cues at the moment, so we'll see if ENCE can be as patient. You can see James creeping. Oh boy, so dangerous. Looking for the entry, being denied. Sampayas still having a look, Flit taken out. Multiple plays on the ramp. How do you respond?
Trying to chase after him, but to no avail. Snappy will get dropped though. Kicker losing that duel a number of times, so it's revenge for him. But Outsiders aren't quite done with this A bomb site. Still setting up and waiting for ENCE to make their next move, but they are grinding this clock so damn low. 20 seconds and they haven't gone further forward. Now the smoke and the Molotov will come down and the nade landing on top of Sampayas, but the boost up is well timed. An instant headshot and Valdez found his as well. It just keeps on being more and more frags for ENCE. They will guarantee all 30.
Those are exactly the frags they needed. No util left for the CTs. Did not allow that bomb to get planted. And we go to 30 rounds. Backs to the wall now, Outsiders. ENCE have done it the hard way. They've had to really concentrate, really focus, limit their mistakes, limit their variance, their risk.
And again, we look at that timer that Outsiders are going with in these rounds. Again, it's 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 20 seconds in this round. It seems like they're giving themselves less and less time to find success on sites.
One more crack at the whip. All 5 here. Have a look at that HE grenade. That is doing chunks. Snappy not shy to be aggressive now. He's lost Valde though. It's going to be hard to trade when there's that smoke in position. There's not so much he can do about this. So, despite the damage from that grenade, it is the early frag for Outsiders that they're always looking for. A minute 20 on the clock. They all focus on the ramp. Do they go and show some presence towards B now?
Hell of a time to do it if they do. Diha left many moons ago. And Madden will take his place instead. Diha, I think, realizing the error of his ways, trying to make sure that it's not an easy going. Snappy, last time they were in a dire situation, he certainly stepped up, but he's baiting and trying to allow Sampayas enough room. Molotov in at the sandbag, so they're not calling that bluff. Kicker's got a second, and Snappy stands his ground, but gets nothing. A nade from Diha maybe makes it a little bit better, but it's still pain for ENCE, and they still don't know for certain if it's A.
Diha needs a multi-frag. He has the angle to do it. He can pop those heads. That clock is ticking, but there's enough time for Outsiders to take this, and they have taken his angles away. 29 seconds, still not committing to this bomb site. Kiket's made his way into B. Does Modern expect anybody to be here? Doesn't look like it, and down he goes. 1 versus 4 now for Diha. He's got so much to do. If he can find a way to take down that bomb carrier, then maybe there is something to be done, but look at all the angles he has to deal with. Looking for the lurker, we can see Flit just waiting around the corner as that bomb starts to get planted. He knows there's a flanker, he found the first one, and now you can see Kiket making things worse, almost guaranteeing a trade frag situation. He'll peek when his teammates shoot. Surely this one's over. Diha's got so much to do in a triangle of doom, and Kiket puts him out of his misery. Outsiders are your ESL Challenger Rotterdam champions 2022.
I cannot believe it. They do it 2-0. They beat them so handily on Dust 2, and then it came to every single round on Vertigo. As soon as it came to crunch time, Kicker gets 4 kills to make sure that they have no more hope. The legends that head to Rio are beaten by challengers, so confidence has to be shaken, but Outsiders look so damn good in the finals.
Their second match of this tournament, they lost to ENCE and they enact their revenge. Amazing work by Outsiders. Over to you, Banks.
They have done it. Outsiders are your champions here at ESL Challenger Rotterdam 2022. This team, the core of this team, have been together since 2019. Daston, James, Kicker, they started to rebuild things in May, make some changes. They've had a lot of success now coming their way, but it's always been a trophy that's been more difficult to get. It's finally happened, Daston. How you feeling?
It's very nice feeling because it was second map was very close, and the last round James said, let's win the last round because it will be... А как обидней? На английском. Будет обидней, если... If we win 16-14, it will be better. It will be... That's the meaning. It was... Thank you for audience. Thank you for people from Kazakhstan. Thank you. Спасибо. Спасибо. Thank you. It's very nice feeling.
Guys, grab that trophy, lift it up, make some noise for Outsiders, your ESL Challenger Rotterdam 2022 champion!
They came in one of 3 major contenders that shall soon be battling in Rio, but they had perhaps the smallest amount of fanfare. No one really expected them to do it again, but they are undeniable here on the Challenger circuit. Their 3rd final and their 2nd trophy of the year, the most successful Challenger competitor by a long shot. They've earned this trophy every step of the way, 100% deserved here, Hedgie.
It was absolutely. It all started with a phenomenal CT side, and it was impenetrable defense there. They managed to, ENCE managed to get onto that A side, but they were losing the after plans. The margins were not on their side. In trying to execute towards the B, there was Norbert and there was Fame, who was just locking it all down. And mid wasn't an option either, because holy shit, Flit is lit.
Let's reflect anyway on those 3 Challenger finals that Outsiders have played this year. First up, they played Furia. It was a whitewash. Furia were never